the sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good. Hold on. There it is. Got a button hit there. We were fooling with something this morning. I was messing with our headphones. Sorry about that.
Dang.
Good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yeah,
you probably didn't hear that on the air.
They didn't, but I
just
did.
heard it on my end.
That
Yeah.
was that was a lot to take in.
Yeah, that's what happens when it's on delay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm listening to the radio feed as opposed to the program feed, and there's that.
And then that happens.
Then you start talking, and right after you stop talking, there's nothing, and then you hear yourself start talking.
Did you ever try? It's like a speech jammer. Did you ever try using a speech jammer?
No.
No. It's okay. You can download the app. I'm pretty sure still. Basically, what it does is it just delays your voice like 0.5 seconds. Essentially, it's like if you've ever talked on a microphone at like a stadium.
Okay. Why would you want that?
You don't. The point is that it's kind of fun. It like makes you sound like you're drunk or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, watching videos of people using Speech Jammer.
Yeah.
It's a great way to pass an afternoon.
When technology is much more modern now with cell phones and all this stuff, but when I was in the military,
Right.
and when I was deployed overseas, like Kuwait, things like that, because you didn't have cell phones, things like that, they would give you calling cards to call home, things like that. But also you can call for free by using military landlines. So what would in essence happen is, say I wanted to call my parents to say, hey, I'm doing okay or whatever.
Right.
I would in essence, from where I was in Kuwait, call Andrews Air Force Base in D.C. They would have a number you call, and then in essence they would call your family and connect you through.
Right.
So basically you call the base that's kind of near the family that you're trying to
And
hit.
then they patch you in.
Yeah, but the way they did that, and so they created a delay like that. So you basically had to say over almost every time you're done talking.
Really?
Because if not, you're going to step over each other, or you're not going to finish your thought, and they're going to start. It just was.
They finish what they're saying, and then there's like a 3-second delay before they start talking. You start talking, so they start talking again to fill the silence, and then
So it's basically you got to go. Hey, mom and dad, how are you doing? Over, and then they figured it out after first.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of how it was, because just the way the delays worked on the, patching from this to that, and now it's all different because everyone and their uncles got cell phones, and they probably just call themselves. But back in the 90s, that was not the case.
Yeah, I imagine at this day and age, and I mean, I don't know anybody who served in the age of smartphones necessarily, but I imagine it's probably Zoom calling from the front lines at this point.
Yeah, they probably but there is OPSEC, operational security.
Yeah, there's
issues that they've got.
They can triangulate things.
Yeah, that they tell you, because even back in the day, they used to tell us don't tell. I mean, everyone knew, but they said don't say where you're at over the phone, and really they really hammer home your OPSEC stuff. It's like, they listening, and granted, you don't tell the whole plan, but if you say a little bit, and then they pick up someone else saying a little bit, they put it all together and figure out what's going on. And but it was I don't know.
I'm sure it was.
It wasn't a difficult code to crack here. If someone was really trying to figure out where we were, they probably already knew, and they weren't learning from GIs making phone calls home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Operation listen to calls to parents.
Listen to House of the Dog.
Operation House Uncle Jerry.
Operation Did You Pay My light bill? Kind of deal. But good morning. Happy Thursday.
Yes.
We do have a full slate for you for today's show.
Ah, yes.
Let me give you the rundown right quick. We're going to have, it's going to be, I know at least Representative Greg Nybert. We may have some other representatives, Phelps Anderson and or Candy Spence-Zell, join us. Give us a weekly legislative update. They're going to call in here in just a few. And I had a back and forth texting with Greg Nybert yesterday, so I think we're good to go, barring any last-minute busyness that's happening there for them this morning.
Sure.
So we should be talking to them in just a few. In the 8 o'clock hour, tonight is City Council. Mayor Dennis Kentai will join us here in the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, give us the rundown for what's on tap for tonight's City Council meeting. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society will pop by, give us an update on what's happening over there, adoption of pets, all that good stuff. So. By the way, new Big Brother last night.
Yeah.
Chris Kattan is out of it, dude.
He's out of the house, or he's
out
lost
of
his
it.
mind?
He's lost his mind. He doesn't know how to play the game. Like, he's in here and he clearly doesn't know the rules of the game. Like he got nominated for eviction the time before, and he pleaded to get voted out instead of.
Well, he wants out. I'm sure.
Yeah, But I don't think he understood. He was just he was so upset because the person that ended up going out wanted to be there so much more than him. And he's like, I don't get it. She deserves to be here more than me. And they're like, you don't get it. It's a game. We're trying to. He's not.
Right. It's not putting, but he's playing it like, I want out of here.
Yeah.
I'm sick of all of you. I'm sick of not having access to anything, any kind of technology. And I'm sick of not having access to my cocaine. Let me out of here.
Although,
so what he should have done was he should have gone on the show I'm a Celebrity. Well, he actually did go on the show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Is he on that one too?
No, that's what is on right now.
Is that still in the air?
I know. God, no.
I remember watching.
I think the last time that was on, Heidi and Spencer were still a big deal.
I remember Stuttering John was on that.
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the seasons of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
I only remember that show just because of the show The Soup. Just because of Joel McHale's coverage on The Soup.
Yeah, I watched it. I kind of was into it. Really,
I refused to
enough.
watch that show.
Weirdly enough, I was kind of into that show. But anyway, I probably shouldn't have put on speaker. Should be.
Is that guest on the phone?
Yeah, let's do this. We do have our representatives join us on the phone here. Let's pause for news and not news, weather, and a quick break, and then we'll talk with our state reps here on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little bit of a warming trend over the next few days, and then we'll be cooling off for the upcoming weekend with a cold front dropping in. Low 60s and sunshine today. Overnight will be clear with upper 20s and low 30s, and then we're back to the low 70s, and we get sunny weather on Friday. Mix of sunshine and clouds on Saturday and cooler with our high in the low 50s, fair and mild Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hi, I'm Dennis Kintai, Mayor of Roswell. Since becoming mayor in 2014, we've accomplished a lot. We've cleaned out numerous derelict structures that spoil our neighborhoods. We've constructed a state-of-the-art aquatic center. We have built 2 new splash pads in city parks for families to enjoy. We have invested over $25 million to revitalize our air center. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the city of Roswell has stayed open and free while we work to ensure everyone's safety. Today, we are under attack from those trying to impose Santa Fe values on our way of life. I will always fight to keep Roswell values front and center. We've done a lot, but there's more to be done. I'm asking you to vote to keep me, Dennis Kintai, as your mayor on March 1st. Together, we can keep Roswell free. This is Dennis Kintai, and I approve of this ad.
Buying a good, clean, reliable pre-owned vehicle is just about the smartest thing you can do these days. But how do you know it's good, clean, and reliable? Well, just visit your friends at Roswell Ford. Here at the Tailgate Nation, we have over 100 outstanding pre-owned vehicles ready to serve you and your family for years to come. How do you know? Because we put everyone through a rigorous 139-point inspection, and we give you a 3-day money-back guarantee to be sure it's right. These are vehicles you'll be proud to own and thrilled to drive, like a 2015 Ford Fusion Hybrid for just $11,980, a 2017 Ford Escape for just $15,980, and a 2020 Ford Explorer XLT for just $39,980, plus about 100 more that are just as good. Sure, you can get a used car just about anywhere, but you'll only find a selection like this at Roswell Ford. So don't take chances. Come by and see us at Roswell Ford, the tailgate nation at the corner of 9th and Main.
Have you ever just been tired? I'm not talking about sleepy tired, more like my mom used to say, sick and tired. It seems like I've been meeting a lot of people lately who are just tired. They're tired of their jobs, of politics, of rising inflation and paychecks that have stayed the same. Tired of doing school and work and everything at home instead of somewhere else, and they're certainly tired of COVID. The stress on us because of where the world is right now is high, and it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Often I'm asked by people who are tired if there's any secret to getting rid of the tired. My answer is simple, but simple doesn't always mean easy. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest." That's my simple answer. Give your burdens and all those things that make you tired to the one who can handle it. His shoulders are broad enough to carry your burdens and to hold you up when you're tired. It's taken me a while, but I think I finally figured out that my shoulders are not near as broad as his. I just need to learn to give up trying to carry everything by myself.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 16 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us on the phone this morning from Santa Fe, New Mexico, we have Representatives Greg Nybert and Candy Spence-Ezell joining us this morning. Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
So we're down to the, I guess, pretty much the last week here in a 30-day session. Now, not that anything slows down as much in a 30-day as a 60-day, but does the last week kind of really gear up for you guys whereas you went 100 miles an hour till now you're going 200 miles an hour for this last week while they try to scramble and get the last things they want to get done?
Mike, the disorganization that goes on up here is unbelievable. The speaker cannot plan anything in advance because he doesn't really know what's happening here. Tomorrow, or this evening, I guess it is, because he stated this yesterday, we will have a short floor session after committees this morning, and then we will go back into committees because he's got other plans. We won't go back on the floor until 8 o'clock tonight.
Wow.
And that's as far as ahead of time that we know of right now.
Man.
And he takes us into the evening because he thinks that he's punishing us if we talk too long.
I gotcha. So, obviously, so when they do this kind of stuff, is it to try to, is the tactic there to try to make sure the bills that they want to get passed get to the House floors and the main places where they need to, while the ones they don't kind of die on the vine a little bit? Is that part of those kind of tactics, or is that something different altogether?
Well, it's kind of like a fire hose.
Okay.
You have all these bills that are in the tank, so to speak, that are trying to get through a pretty narrow opening, and the bills are backed up in committee. They're backed up on the speaker's desk on the House floor,
mm-hmm.
and with only a week left, he has to decide which pieces of legislation he wants to make sure go through the process. And it's
also hinged upon what the governor wants passed through our House, too.
Sure.
That's very good.
Well,
she's sending messages down to him all the time.
Sure. Yeah, I was about to say, it's probably pretty obvious that where the speaker's marching orders are coming from here. So it's just waiting on deciding what the governor wants, basically, and then he tries to make that happen as much as he can as a speaker.
Mike, she does send messages down to those representatives. I know that you're aware of this. there was a certain representative that did submit her resignation.
Mm-hmm.
It came after pretty brutal chastising by certain people that lasted over 4 hours. That she was being screamed and yelled at, and this representative stated for her mental well-being, she would not put up with that anymore, and she resigned. So that is what happens up here.
Interesting, because I heard, on the news that the representative resigned based on mental well-being, but I didn't hear the details behind that story. So that's kind of what was going on there. Interesting.
Yes, sir, it was what was going on there.
We had a really interesting fight break out on the floor when one of the representatives from western New Mexico made an objection to the process that was going on with the particular bill. And you would have thought that the place melted down, because all of a sudden the colleagues on the other side of the aisle started scrambling. They were put between a rock and a hard place, and pretty soon they called for a caucus meeting, and they all left the House floor and came back, and that representative who made the bold statement about an issue all of a sudden withdrew his motion, and things got back to normal. But that's the power of the governor and the power of the speaker, whipping their members in line, and the representative had a very good point. The speaker had gone out of his way to maneuver a bill. In fact, the speaker appointed an additional person to the one committee that was hearing this bill, so that his bill would pass that committee, because it was likely going to fail. And he appointed a new member to that committee to get an extra vote to move that out of committee. And that's what the representative from western New Mexico was bringing up. And it was like an atomic bomb went off on the floor of the House, and it was rather amusing.
We laugh in the ridiculousness, but to be honest, this is why we've had the problems we have, because the deck's been stacked for so long, and if in any time there's any kind of dissension, they just say, "Oh, well, we'll get rid of the dissension."
That is what happens. These members on the other side have been told, if you don't vote the way we tell you to, we will make sure you don't come back.
Wow, democracy in action there, huh?
Exactly.
So, we don't want this happening, obviously, in our legislature. We see this going on, and the public here should be very scared when they see that kind of thing happen. But does that bode well for conservatives? Like, is this going to alienate enough on the other side where they say, you know what, we're tired of this, we're breaking from that, and we're gonna see does this in some weird way actually help us in maybe seeing a shift down the road, or am I just dreaming?
I don't know about that issue, but I can tell you that some of this criminal justice reform legislation that was proposed, the governor spoke pretty forcefully about the need to increase sentences, the need to keep violent offenders off the street. And it looks like a lot of that legislation that's moving through the House anyway is really watered down. We had House Bill 5 that was trying to keep the violent offenders in jail, not release them back onto the streets. And yesterday we heard that bill in Judiciary, and I'll tell you, it's a fragment of what it was, and all it says is that it became an ankle monitoring bill. It doesn't do anything to stop the revolving door, the catch and release program. It is simply an electronic monitoring device bill at this point. And so I hope the folks in Albuquerque are really paying attention, because, as I've told you before, criminal justice reform in southeast New Mexico means something totally different in criminal justice reform in Albuquerque, and they are watering down this legislation to the point that it means nothing. And I hope the folks in Albuquerque are looking at what's happening.
Well, and so really it's basically talking out of two ends of the mouth here because, we've seen the governor publicly, particularly in Albuquerque, claiming to crack down on crime and wanting all this. And so really what it sounds like, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all, we're doing something that says we're doing something, but there's no teeth or no actual real substance that's coming from these, in essence, bills that are kind of almost to me sound just like window dressing, if that makes sense.
That is exactly what's going on here, Mike. I'm appalled at what they are doing to these bills that are supposed to be strengthening regulations, rules, whatever the case may be, to protect our public. But yet, here we go again. We're going to give them a slap on the wrist and set them free. See what happens. Tell them you're a bad person. Don't do that again.
Oh, wait, we can't tell them they're a bad person.
You're right.
We have to tell them, Johnny, please don't do that again. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Man. It's I don't know, because I don't understand the logic here. What's their end game on this? I mean, is it something that can even remotely make sense to us? I mean, I just don't understand why they don't want to do real work on trying to fix this.
Mike, your guess is as good as mine, because they're the ones whose constituents have to put up with that stuff. I mean, it's the people that they're fighting for, or who they say they're fighting for. It's the poorest of the poor that are more extremely impacted by this criminal behavior than anybody else.
Yeah.
And yet they portray themselves as being champions of the poor, and on the other hand, they won't do anything to get that crime under control. And their response is, we just need more police on the street. Well, a year ago, they were saying, defund the police. You can't have more police on the street if you're discouraging people from wanting to enter that profession. It does not make sense, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're so screwed up here.
Yeah. And because the problem is so bad up there, New Mexico is training these state policemen. And because of the poor pay situation, or because of the situation in Albuquerque where it is catch and release, these officers are actually leaving the state of New Mexico after we've invested all this money in the training for them. So you tell me what's wrong with that problem. Can anybody figure that one out?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty... it really doesn't take a Rhodes Scholar to put that math together and figure out what's going on with that equation there. Because, I mean, and why would someone? I mean, if I'm a law enforcer, especially an experienced law enforcement officer, and they're, they can go to the next state over and say, at least my work is appreciated, and I'm not, I don't at least appear to be busting the same people every day because they let them out as soon as I put them back in jail. It's just insanely, it's so ridiculous. It's almost funny if that's, it is not, because it's a serious, but it almost seems like we're watching a Saturday Night Live sketch or something sometimes. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, they will go home and they'll say, we support the police because we got them a 19% raise in the fiscal 2022-23 budget. And, they'll point to that as their support of law enforcement, yet on the other hand, they do everything they can to make it more difficult for them to do their work. They say things that frankly, do not do anything to help the morale of our police officers. They don't provide the support, and it's disingenuous.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, and let's, because in all fairness, in all reality, if we're talking like if they're, what they're saying, support law enforcement, do this, and we talk about, the world we live in and defunding the police and the things that are going on here. Well, every one of these folks that are on that side have all said, well, they need to, basically retrain how law enforcement does their job. And agree or disagree, I'm like, well, okay, if that's what you think, then why aren't you working to find all the kind of resources to get the kind of training you think they need into law enforcement? Where's that effort if you're so concerned about it? Because I've yet to hear anybody talk about that. It's like, well, if they're not training them, maybe we need to assess on how they train them. Where's that funding? Where's that stuff coming from? I'm not hearing anybody talk about that.
It's just really difficult to understand that. I don't understand the mindset that they go through to get to some of the conclusions that they make.
Right.
And it's totally foreign to the legislators who serve from southeast New Mexico. None of us understand their logic in arriving at some of those conclusions, particularly based on what we see on the news every night in their community.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Absolutely. At some point, you'd think people would start asking questions. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's happening and we just don't see that part of it or what. I don't know. But I can't imagine there's not people that live up north that are finally at a point where they're saying, we're being screwed by these people. We need to do something about it. You know?
Well, Mike, on the same line of asking questions, we had an issue that we were made aware of on Sunday morning, I guess it was.
Okay.
In regards to the U.S. Forest Service over there on the National Forest, the Gila National Forest.
Okay.
Seems like we were notified that the Forest Service was going to go in there and do an aerial, keep this in mind, aerial shooting of those stray cattle over there in the Gila National Forest. That means that they were going to fly over in helicopters and literally shoot these cattle. We got busy. We wrote a letter to the Forest Service. We sent it out to every agency that we could think of with bipartisan support on this, not to allow that to happen. We were informed this was to commence Tuesday. We got word back. We sent it to all of our congressional delegations. They got involved with it, with the exception of one senator. And we heard that there was going to be more meetings. I got a message late last night that the Forest Service and APHIS decided they would continue on with this slaughtering of stray cattle over in the Gila by way of helicopter. Now, can you really read a brand out of a helicopter?
Right. Well, I mean,
they're going in there today. They are going to kill with rifles from the air approximately 100 head of cattle. We have laws in New Mexico that what happens when an stray is found, it is the responsibility of the New Mexico Livestock Board to impound these cattle to determine who the owner is.
Yeah.
And if there is no owner that comes forward, they are then sold by the New Mexico Livestock Board, okay?
I don't.
As it stands today, with them going in there today and tomorrow to kill these cattle, they're going to leave those carcasses on the ground right there.
Yep.
Do we have hungry people in the state of New Mexico that could use, after these cattle were gathered by cowboys, whatever the case may be, that could have used that? Could they have gone to these agencies are like our Fishes and Loaves organization down in the Dexter area to be put to good use?
Absolutely.
What they are doing there makes me absolutely sick. I am furious about it. And here we go, because the federal government says, well, we have the right to do it with no notification to anybody in the state of New Mexico.
Wow. That is insane. I mean, I feel like there's so many ways they could rectify this without going to the air with helicopters and shooting cattle. That, I mean, are we just going to, hey, look, there's just random piles of money on federal land that we can't, no one's going to claim it, so we're just going to burn it. I mean, that's what it almost sounds, in essence, the same thing as what they're doing there, because that, I mean, yes, they're cannibals or animal, but that's like you said, that's how many people can you feed with that?
Right.
Just look at the brands. If there's brands on it, shouldn't that tell you who they belong to? That's the whole point of branding. Is it just too dense to get someone in there to look at it? Is that what they're saying?
Whenever the Forest Service took back this allotment, they destroyed all of the improvements that were made to this allotment. So there's pins there. So that, therefore, they say, well, the easiest way to do this is just to go in there and aerially kill them. Okay, those carcasses are going to be lying there in the forest. Is that going to attract, I don't know, any of the Mexican gray wolves that have been released from captivity because they were raised in captivity?
Mm-hmm.
Are they now going to be conditioned that, hey, beef is good?
Right. Yeah.
They are saying this area is for the elk habitat. Don't you think that those wolves will also be attracted to, I don't know, elk?
Right. Yeah.
They're saying, I mean, I am just infuriated by what they are doing.
So
I will drop it
at this point. But at this point, I mean, is there anything the public? I mean, is it? I mean, because you can't.
Yes, they can write. I'll tell you some people we wrote to.
Okay.
We sent this letter to the governor of the state of New Mexico, lieutenant governor, speaker of the House, president of the Senate, the attorney general, the senatorial and congressional delegation, where Martin Heinrich was no help whatsoever. We sent it to the U.S. Forest Service, the State Livestock Board, New Mexico Cattle Growers, Secretary of Agriculture, Farm and Livestock Bureau, New Mexico Farm and Livestock Bureau, the Forest Supervisor in the Gila National Forest, all of the sheriff's departments, the Association of Counties, and the list goes on and on and on. We even sent it to the Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus. We sent it to every agency that we could think of. And the only ones that did not support this effort was the United States Forest Service.
Interesting. So, folks, keep blowing up phones, blowing up people's computers. Anybody that's got really any kind of authority in the state of New Mexico, put it on their radar and make them, at least hear what's going on and tell them, hey, you should do something about this before some real dumbness happens here. Man, but do it quick.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And I'm going to bring it up this morning at our 8 o'clock Ag Committee, and I do want this made public. Mike, I think that what Greg and I would like to discuss now is what we submitted last week.
Okay.
And that,
in regard to our capital outlay.
Okay.
Mike, it's probably a positive note for our community. It looks like we have secured about $7.5 million to return to Chaves County and the governmental entities within Chaves County. And some of the really exciting ones that the city of Roswell would be happy to hear that and all this is subject to the governor's veto pin, but we hope she will certainly sign off on these things. But the city of Roswell has noticed that the only city in the state that is capable of having firefighting training for airport fires is Albuquerque, in concert with Kirtland Air Force Base.
Okay.
Every other airport in the state has to send its firefighters that serve airports out of state for training. And so the city of Roswell would like to open a aircraft firefighting training center in Roswell, and that we fully funded that request so that measure can move forward, and maybe we can get that training facility out at the Roswell Industrial Air Center.
Yeah, that would be great. So in essence, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that would bring in the firefighters from Las Cruces, from Clovis, from Hobbs, and all the other airports except for Albuquerque.
Very good.
Throughout the state. So it's not only training our firefighters, but it's also some economic development, bringing in those firefighters from elsewhere to learn how to put out fires involving aircraft at an air facility.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I imagine we're an ideal training environment for that, with that air industrial center where you don't have the traffic and volume that you have, say, at Albuquerque Airport there, the Sunport. But here, they've got the space, the open area, and they can do all kinds of training out there. I imagine, that could potentially be the main training area at some point where like you said, it's going to be doing more work than the Albuquerque Center there, and which would all be good for Southeast New Mexico. Pretty good stuff. I like that.
And we might be able to find an airplane or two.
Yeah. I think we got one laying around.
I think we just might be able to come up with one or two.
We'll check under the couch here, but I think we got one.
Yeah. We also provided some funds. We've been working on and I say we, the county commission, who does a really great job taking care of us in Chaves County. They've had a request in for several years to replace historic courthouse windows, and that's been done in phases, and I believe this is the last phase.
Okay.
We have provided some more money to finish out that historic window replacement process, and that has been a real ordeal, because when the building was made in 1910 or so, each window was custom made, and so the county was unable to go out and say, we need 100 windows of this size and 100 windows of that size. It had to basically have people come in and take precise measurements, and they're having to custom make those windows, which of course drives up the cost. So I think this is the last installment of that project. If you've ever been on West Brasher out by the city landfill, there's a bridge.
And it's a scary bridge, Mike.
Yeah. I know the bridge of which you speak.
Narrow, scary bridge.
There is a lot of traffic on that road, too, because they're able to turn off the relief route onto Brasher, and you cannot see if anybody is approaching. If you are heading from the west to the east, you cannot see that there might be an oncoming traffic until you're right at the bridge itself.
And that's a project that Representative Ezell and I had tried to fund a couple years ago, and I believe it got vetoed. But we have again funded that road project, and hopefully that will be taken care of. There's a number of other things throughout the city: Dexter, Hagerman, Lake Arthur, and the Eastern New Mexico University. They had a big project to replace their cooling and their boilers. Very big project, and we've got a pretty good sum of money in for that particular project. The other things that are of interest, there's some additional road projects. A museum and art center got funded. The county also is trying to do some things with what's called Area D, which is where people do the early voting. They're trying to take that building and make it into a larger 911 center, a regional
dispatch
center. And so there's some money to advance that effort.
Okay.
The health department is in need of some different quarters, and so we put in a little bit of money to study that issue.
Okay.
And then Candy, of course, covers the valley, and there's a number of projects that Dexter, Hagerman, Lake Arthur had and are funded here. So very pleased to be able to provide that. It's money that comes from largely the oil and gas production in the state, and we're glad we're able to return some of it to our community.
Well, and that's what
Another thing that Representative Nybert and Representative Anderson and I presented to the House Appropriations the other day, after it passed out unanimously from House Transportation, was the bill to do work on US 380 going east out of Roswell to the Texas state line.
Yes, that would be amazing if that goes 4 lanes.
Well, we're not sure if it's going to go 4 lanes right here at the start. They're talking about what is it called, a Super 2?
A Super 2.
Okay.
It's called a Super 2 highway. And they will intermittently have passing lanes on the eastbound side, and then it will alternate to the northbound side. So you're never going to be tied up, the 15th person in a row that is behind a vehicle that is going 45 miles an hour.
I gotcha.
So, but it's a big project, and it is on the radar now. District 2 always does an excellent job with our roads, and they are one of the I'm going to go back and correct that, the district that always comes in under budget, gets their jobs done on time, and whenever they do come in under budget, that money is used elsewhere. I have a problem with that.
They don't get rewarded for their good stewardship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I do have to applaud those workers out there at our District 2 office, DOT office. They are doing a great job, and hopefully whenever we do get that road improved, it'll be easier for, school buses, mail service, ambulance service, tourists, people going to doctors, you name it.
Yeah, I would imagine too. It's just safer. I mean, I don't think you were getting. I don't know for folks that have been here a while. If you remember the stretch of highway between Roswell and Ruidoso, that much of that was 2-lane for a long time, and every summer there's people dying on that thing because that's kind of a curvy road compared to the stretch we're talking about here. But once that made that 4 lanes, that changed the landscape of the safety and everything else on that area. So I'm thinking we'll see some of that and that stretch between here and Tatum, with some of this work too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Secretary of Tourism is totally behind this project because she understands the importance of tourists coming into our state, especially just from right across the state line.
Absolutely.
It's how they get to these other points of interest, whether it's Roswell, Artesia, Ruidoso, Alamogordo, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
They have to travel that road to get in here.
Yep.
And the Super 2 project that both Commissioner Bruce Ellis and Cisco Sanchez and Alan Briley and others have explained to us is that it's basically a 3-lane highway all the way, 3 lanes all the way, but it will alternate as to whether the eastbound or westbound have the passing lane.
Gotcha.
So it's 3 lanes all the way. It's not just a passing lane for, a 4-mile stretch. It'll be a 3-lane highway from the Texas state line to the city limits of Roswell or probably that.
Yeah, because right now they have those intermittent pass lanes every, 20, 30 miles or so. I don't know the distance between them. But, yeah, so this, in essence, will be 3 lanes all the way, but it's just it'll take turns on which side of the lane gets the second lane there, basically. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right. That's what they've explained to us, and I think that's what they're shooting for. And like Representative Zell said, we had a bill in front of appropriations for $46 million. That would have started the project. It did get tabled in appropriations, but as a result of that effort, everyone, including Secretary Michael Sandoval, the Secretary of Transportation, they all recognize that need is there, and so 380 is moving up on the statewide priority list.
Okay.
And District 2 still having to deal with a couple major projects down in the Jow area, some of the oil-filled roads, but this is moving forward, and we're hopeful that we'll start seeing some progress on this within the next couple of years.
Good deal. We're running short on time, but I do want to ask real quick, since we're talking roads, any relief for our folks farther south in the Hobbs-Lee County area on some of those road issues they've got? Have you heard any one way or another on some of the progress there?
Well, 128, which is the road between Loving and Jowl, that's a major reconstruct, and I believe that they are, if I remember our discussion with Cisco in December, I think that thing is being let for bid, and that thing's moving forward. There's another road out in that area. I think it's New Mexico 31, which is out in the Potash area that services a lot of oil and gas. That road is also being substantially redone. US 285 south of Carlsbad, I think that's been under construction for a while. So that's where the real focus has been. And frankly, Mike, that's why the US 380 maybe hasn't moved as far as it has, is because the focus has really been on that area that has oil field traffic and trying to take care of the very dangerous situations down there. But now the focus is moving further north, and US 380 is now on their radar.
Well, we'll take it.
You also have to keep in mind that southeastern New Mexico gets, it seems like one road project a year, but boy, we can sure fix them up around, I don't know, Taos and Santa Fe and all those areas up north that don't like the oil and gas industry. So, yeah.
Well, they like our money.
One thing we learned talking to Cisco is District 2, which is, the headquartered in Roswell, and it covers basically from Clovis to Jowl and from the state line to Alamogordo. That district has more lane miles than any other DOT district in the state of New Mexico, and so you look at how much how many roads there are in southeast New Mexico and how many lane miles they have to take care of, build and construct and maintain and repair. Our guys in Roswell, Hobbs, Clovis, at those offices have more to do than any other district, and so they should be patted on the back.
Absolutely.
They do. So I know you hit a pothole every now and then. You go, why aren't they fixing those things? But
well, our weather's not the kindest on roads anyway, even without the traffic or anything. Just the extreme conditions we get wreaks havoc on that asphalt too, not just the traffic.
Yeah, and we also have a lot of heavy equipment utilizing those roads with the oil patch and stuff. So, we understand it. It's just that our guys are stretched pretty thin with a large area of the state to cover, but they do a pretty good job of trying to keep up with it. And with that 380 project will just be another thing they have to put on their plate, but I'm sure they're up to the task.
Absolutely. Well, we're about out of time for this time, unfortunately. I'd love to talk to you guys, but I know you got your day job to take care of here. But as always, we thank you too, and of course, thanks to Phelps as well, and all of your brother and sister legislators here. We do appreciate the fight you guys are having this during this session here, and I wish we could give you some energy drinks or something to help you get through this last week. But
we're making sure that we drink Fairlife muscle milk.
There you go. There you go. Go with chocolate, by the way.
Put in a plug for our dairy industry.
Absolutely. Yep. Very good. Well, thank you. We appreciate the visit here, and we'll hopefully get a chance to talk next week here during the final day of the session here. So.
Thank God. People will be safe then.
Absolutely, for another year. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, that was our representatives, Greg Nybert and Candy Spence. Thank you very much to them. And, well, you heard it. There's some from the good to the ridiculous coming out of Santa Fe. One more week of that, but we'll probably get a good recap of how everything went next Thursday when it is actually the last day of the session. They'll be wrapping up then. All right, 7:54. Let's take a quick commercial break. Actually, let's do local news and then your town hall business and then a quick break. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Now your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Eddy County Finance Director Roberta Smith recently told county leaders that the county's finances are in good shape. In fact, Smith said that Eddy County appears to be on the path to a $45 million budget surplus at the end of the fiscal year on June 30th. The county has surpassed budgeted collections in two big areas: oil and gas production and equipment, and gross receipts taxes. The Carlsbad City Council has approved an agreement with the State Transportation Department to install a traffic light at U.S. Highway 62-180 and Refinery Road. The improvement is in anticipation of the construction project at Southeast Loop Road. The city is agreeing to provide the power and maintenance to the traffic signals, while the state would be responsible for the costs of installation. And New Mexico House lawmakers have approved legislation aimed at discouraging predatory lending by lowering the state cap on annual interest rates for storefront loans. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. It's been a crazy week for the Hagerman boys basketball team. A busy week, that's for sure. Hagerman last night in overtime knocked off NMMI 56-41 to move to 17-2 on the season. Only the night before, the Bobcats lost to Elida 64-62. Now, both of those were non-district games. Hagerman's right back in action Friday night at Eunice. That's part of a boys-girls double header. NMMI, meanwhile, next in action Saturday at home against Loving. Also, a boys-girls doubleheader tonight. Dexter at Tucumcari. The Dexter girls are 13-5. The Gateway Christian girls are 15-1. They're playing at home Saturday against Doris. Starts at 6 o'clock. The Gateway boys have won 2 in a row, both against Floyd. They're at Elida tonight. Elida 16-3. Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Some Democratic senators on Wednesday called for suspending the federal gas tax for the remainder of the year to help consumers struggling with rising fuel prices. The legislation could prove popular during an election year in which the average price of gasoline nationally, according to AAA, exceeds about $3.45 a gallon, and it could go higher during the peak driving season. A theme park comeback continued to boost Disney's results in the most recent quarter. Disney had closed or limited capacity at its theme parks and suspended cruises earlier in the pandemic. Domestic parks have reopened, and revenue in that division doubled in the most recent quarter to $7.23 billion. On Wall Street, the Dow up 305 points. The Nasdaq up 296, and the S&P 500 rose 65 points. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Sometimes we put off important health needs like surgeries because, well, we worry about the pain and time needed for recovery. Dr. Paul Torres, a board-certified general surgeon, has joined Loveless Healthcare Center and is helping patients in the Roswell area get back to the lives they love with less pain and a faster recovery through advances in minimally invasive surgery. To find out if laparoscopic surgery is the best solution for you, call Loveless and make an appointment today at 575-625-3222.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at RoswellUFOmuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical. Name to remember.
Nook's Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to you with new winter hours. The restaurant is now open 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and the store 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. Be sure to get your last order in by 6:30 p.m. Delicious, authentic dishes, including a variety of Thai noodle soups, dried egg noodles, dumplings, and more, served at your table or to go. While you wait, browse the store with lots of fresh new ingredients like galanga, lemongrass, lime leaf, and Thai chili. Nook's Asian Market, South Main, Roswell.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The inflation news, pretty grim. The January Consumer Price Index has prices soaring 7.5% over the past year. It's a 40-year high, and it's even worse than economists were expecting. Meanwhile, the unemployment report, a bit better than the experts were expecting.
The Labor Department reports jobless claims fell by 16,000 to 223,000 last week. The 4-week average for claims fell slightly after rising for 5 straight weeks. This occurred as the Omicron variant of the coronavirus spread, disrupting business in many parts of the U.S.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. Tens of thousands of Russian troops holding military drills in Belarus near Ukraine's northern border. More than 100,000 Russians already deployed along Ukraine's eastern frontier. The White House sticking with federal COVID guidelines, even as many blue states start to roll back pandemic constraints.
Several Democratic states are moving to roll back mask mandates. But for now, Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the White House does not support ending COVID restrictions.
Our focus continues to be to recommend everyone follow CDC guidance, right? And we know that wearing masks effectively reduces transmission.
At the same time, officials here are consulting with state and local leaders and public health officials about the next phase of the pandemic response. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Russian Olympic figure skating superstar 15-year-old Kamila Valieva has reportedly tested positive for a banned substance, jeopardizing the team gold medal she helped to win earlier this week. Motorists being urged to steer clear of the Ambassador Bridge linking Detroit and Windsor, Ontario. The truckers' protest continues, snarling traffic on and around the span. Wall Street, the Dow is down 91 points, the Nasdaq off 101 points, and the S&P 22 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
The credit card debt happened when my daughter was born. I was using one credit card account to roll over into another credit card account, and it was snowballing.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
When I first called Trinity, the representative understood the need based on the situation. They were great people to work with. From the first phone call that I made, they had me on a track to mitigate the credit card debt.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
Working with Trinity gave me the ability to save thousands of dollars. My name's Doug, and thanks to Trinity, I'm debt-free for keeps.
Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Voting is underway in India's most populous state, what's considered a crucial test of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's policies. The BBC's Rajini Vaidyanathan reports.
This state's currently governed by the Hindu nationalist BJP party, and its leader here is a Hindu monk called Yogi Adityanath, and he's a controversial figure. He's made inflammatory remarks about Muslims. Some of his policies, critics say, have had the effect of marginalising Muslims and minorities, things like restricting interfaith marriages and arresting critics, journalists and activists who criticise the government. So there's that side of it, but there's also a side of this where he is hugely popular, he is revered, and many people support those Hindu nationalist policies.
Coronavirus cases rising rapidly in Tonga. Tests confirm it's the Omicron variant behind the nation's first community outbreak since the start of the pandemic. News and analysis, townhall.com. It's a year in prison for one of the parents involved in a college bribery scandal.
One of just 2 parents to go to trial in the college admissions bribery scandal was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in federal prison Wednesday. It was the stiffest sentence handed down so far. 65-year-old Las Vegas resident Gamal Abdelaziz, a former casino executive, was convicted in October of fraud and bribery conspiracy. Prosecutors said Abdelaziz paid $300,000 to get his daughter into the University of Southern California as a basketball recruit, even though she didn't make her high school's varsity team. I'm Mike Gracia.
SpaceX's newest fleet of satellites tumbling out of orbit after being hit by a solar storm. The company reports that up to 40 of the 49 small internet service satellites launched last week have either re-entered the atmosphere and burned up or are about to do so. To get on Wall Street, the Dow down 29 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Javelin, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2
of the news.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you're having a delightful day.
Welcome to it.
Apologies to our video watching friends. One of our cameras is not cooperating this morning.
No, really?
So our guest cam is not working. It's actually the box.
Oh, well, in that case, pants off Thursdays,
That's
everybody.
Right. D-pants all you want. So. But, yeah, it is working. So you got to just stare at me and our screenshots today. My apologies there. Well, I don't know. What we could do
is every time you ask the guest a question, you could just change places real quick.
Yeah, you run around.
Like all Alice in Wonderland style. Change places!
How are you doing today? And go. Good. How are you?
That's kind of what it was like during the Big Flat Mike couple of weeks, you know? It was kind of like that. It was like, oh, I have to run over here.
There was reminiscence of that?
Yeah, I had to run over and make sure that, like, you're like over the board, make sure the mic was working, because I was still in this seat, you know? I was still in my mic 2 seat, and I was still trying to work the board from this side.
Mike wouldn't do it, huh?
Yeah, and I couldn't see the screen, so I had to run around and see if, you know, I had a live read or whatever. It was interesting. Yeah, Big Flat Mike didn't pull his Big Flat part.
Well, I'll tell you now, more of Big F, well, not so much him, but next level. Because I'm in the works of looking to purchase things for the next probably photo opportunity.
Oh yeah?
It's commander related.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now is this a personal thing or is this on a bet?
Well, no,
it's more just for wall deco.
I have been offered an opportunity to help out the historical.
Are you going to be one of the commander's girls?
You got it.
I mean, I heard a rumor.
No. We have
the commandettes,
a fan who wants to help one of our great organizations.
Awesome.
Would like to see me in some commander's apparel. So that's what I'm going to do.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
And plus, it gives you a chance to get some commander's apparel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shucks. See, if you really wanted to put him through his paces, you should have had him in some Dolphins apparel.
Oh no, that ain't right. I might have to reject that offer, especially if it was Cowboys. If it was Cowboys, I'd be like, no. There's no way.
You're telling me you wouldn't put on a classic Ray Finkel Miami Dolphins jersey. From that
Finkel?
classic 1993 team.
Maybe a Finkel one.
I'm telling you.
But
Laces out, my friend.
Maybe.
Oh, he said mayor's seat.
I get the reference.
Coming in with the heat.
You're
I just gotta get the reference.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Einhorn
maybe
is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
Laces out,
Dan. A nice shower in the fetal position set to the crying game.
Maybe, but no. I'm gonna get. But in all fairness, the Commanders' uniforms I do kind of dig.
They're not bad looking. Yeah. Are you gonna go black?
Well, at this point, I'm gonna go what I can get. I need to get a helmet and a jersey, and I've been pricing those helmets, man. Even the replicas are like $200 and some.
They ain't cheap.
And I've only seen the red one. I haven't seen the black one.
Now,
so
can
I'm
you go to like one of our local like?
No, not now. Not at this point.
I mean, yeah. Does it have to be official?
Well, it's got to be. Yeah. I mean, I can't have knockoff NFL apparel.
No, I'm just saying if you want to do this on the cheap, you go to Hibbett Sports. Get yourself a helmet. Go down to the print shop down here and have them print you up a decal.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal for them to print
Slap that bad boy on the
trademark
side.
things for people just randomly.
It's less legal. It's not illegal. There's a gray area. God, everything's black and white with you.
You're the guy buying those South Park T-shirts from the guy on the corner, aren't you?
No. I'm the guy who has a friend with a cricket who makes them.
Oh, I got you. There it is. But
yeah,
no.
I have a shirt. I literally have a shirt, and I'm probably getting in trouble for this, but I have a shirt that says "Skoden."
There you go. Mm-hmm. But made for you?
Made for me. Okay. Written in like this 80s like metal band font. It just says "Skoden."
I'm surprised that those aren't just laying all over the place in Canada.
Right? One would think.
Kind of like old Super Bowl T-shirts just laying around up there.
Just hanging out from the losing teams.
Bold prediction. Those folks up there about to get some Super Bowl champion Cincinnati Bengals shirts because the Rams are going to win.
Really?
They're going to get those reject shirts.
Okay, no, this is the first. This is the first we've thrown down because I have no dog in this fight. But
I'm kind of rooting for the Bengals.
I'm rooting for the Bengals.
I'm rooting for them, but my head tells me the Rams are going to smoke them. The Rams got uber all-stars. They're at home, for Pete's sakes.
All right.
The table's kind of stacked in their favor.
Let's throw down. You're pulling for the Rams.
Okay.
Again, neither of us have a dog in this fight.
Yeah.
You're pulling for the Rams. I'm pulling for the Bengals.
Okay.
Loser has to eat a square.
Ooh. All right. Sure.
All right. Of the world's hottest chocolate bar, we have camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got split. Oh, we got the other one.
Yeah, we got the camera back. So, yeah.
Wow.
Loser has to eat a square of the world's hottest chocolate bar.
All right.
How about that?
How'd that happen? Did you do something, Roy, or just magically
smacked it on the side and it started working again?
You should have just said, "Yeah, it was all me," and take credit for it. That's what I would have done.
Really
but that's
just
just me.
It's magic. I'm magic.
I'm impressive.
I'm that good, ladies.
That's what I would have done. Now, good news video, folks. The guest cam is now working after an hour of playing with it. So Mayor Dennis Kentai will get to be seen and heard here today. So.
Is that a good thing?
Well, I leave that up to you. So.
All right.
Yeah. But tonight is City Council.
Yeah.
And I hate to tell you, Mayor, but we had a couple of city councilors early in the week kind of let the cat out of the bag that tonight's a pack your lunch style meeting. And I said it was a pretty full agenda. So.
Yeah, it is that. My gosh. Oh my gosh.
So, but we'll talk about that here in just a little bit with the mayor. By the way, I got to mention this because this is just, of course, Bob Saget passed away a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And they released the details of his autopsy early this morning. What a heck of a way to go. Did you hear about this?
He's hit his head or something?
He hit his head somewhere. They didn't say how, and then went to sleep.
And never woke up. Woke up dead.
Yeah, right. Something. He didn't make it till the morning. You know? How?
If I die before I wake.
And no foul play, no drugs, no alcohol, everything. It's just a freak accident.
Yeah.
How? Sometimes you just think about that. Remind you. You get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Would it be a bad way to go? You just go to sleep and you never wake up.
I imagine there would be worse ways.
You wake up in heaven.
I'd be mad though.
Oh.
I'd be like, if I were up in heaven, I'd be like, dude, really? I hit my head. That's how I went. Something else?
Beggars can't be glad you're in heaven.
I know. Yeah, true. Call it a win, but I'm just thinking, man, should have gone to the hospital. All right. It is 8:13. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little bit of a warming trend over the next few days, and then we'll be cooling off for the upcoming weekend with a cold front dropping in. Low 60s and sunshine today. Overnight will be clear with upper 20s and low 30s, and then we're back to the low 70s, and we get sunny weather on Friday. Mix of sunshine and clouds on Saturday and cooler with our high in the low 50s, fair and mild Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 44 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 31%. Winds are out of the north at 15 miles per hour. For today, expect sunny skies and a high of 64. Winds will be out of the north at 5 to 15 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 31. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunny on Friday with a high of 69 tomorrow. We're going to be pushing 70 west winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then looking at the weekend, Saturday, they're saying mostly cloudy through mid-morning, then gradually clearing, high of 51, so a little cooler on Saturday. Northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny on Sunday with a high of 67. And for Super Bowl Sunday, yeah, we're going to be pushing 70. And then when you head back to work, actually next week's looking kind of warmer. They're talking 69 on Monday, 74 on Tuesday, and a 20% chance of rain Wednesday with a high of 63. So we'll see how that all shapes up. Okay. All right. It is 8:15. Let's do this. Take a quick commercial break. Mayor will join us. We'll talk all about City Council tonight. Don't go away. Yes, a plan it is. Don't go away. We'll be back. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
If you're a person who has more to do than you have hours in your day, and everything seems to take priority over your own health, then you're going to love the Loveless MyChart Secure Patient Portal. You can message your doctor, make an appointment, or view lab results anytime, day or night, on your computer or smartphone. Print a list of your medications at the click of a mouse, or even compare previous tests to map your health progress. Loveless MyChart connects you to better health, anywhere, anytime.
It's a new year, and the progressives in Santa Fe are trying to get their claws into Roswell. Governor Grinch has her best buddy in Roswell running for mayor. In Roswell, we are proud of our families, our industry, our traditions, and our values. We can't let the Santa Fe gang take over our community. In the Roswell municipal election on March 1st, vote to keep Roswell open, to keep Roswell independent, and to keep Roswell free. Let's keep Kintai as our mayor.
This is Dennis Kintai, and I approve of this ad.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees, so that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Hey, this is Dr. Keon Egger at Carabelli Dental in Roswell. Our office is passionate about creating beautiful, long-lasting smiles. But here's the thing. Sometimes that means dentures, and that's not a bad thing. These aren't your grandma's dentures. We combine artistry and the latest technology to create beautiful, natural-looking teeth. If you are in southeastern New Mexico and you have dentures or are considering dentures, you need to come visit us at Carabelli Dental.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 622-4455.
The Valley Cafe is now open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Located inside the 180 Youth Building across from Church on the Move on Brasher in Roswell. Enjoy soups, salads, sandwiches, burgers, and more. Try one of their signature creations like the Sweet and Spicy Burger with honey jalapeno bacon barbecue sauce, the chicken cordon bleu soup, Chef Anthony Noble's fried avocados, and the Smotherman Burger with creamy green chili sauce. Or swing by for coffee or breakfast burritos on your way to work. The all-new Valley Cafe, open Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or even a snack after school. Don't feel like leaving home? Order takeout from DoorDash.
Time to double up and save at Roswell Honda.
Double your refund.
That's right. Roswell Honda wants to double up your tax refund up to $4,000 towards your next vehicle. And with clearance prices across the lot, you can walk in, double up, and drive away today in a 2014 Yukon for just $379 a month, a 2014 Civic for just $249 a month, or a 2017 Escape for just $199 a month. Zero down, no payments for 4 months, free AirPods with a test drive, and double your refund.
Time to double up.
On now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 18 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, officially now.
Officially.
He's
right.
This is official time here. Mayor Dennis Kentai.
I got to straighten the tie.
That's right. Even getting the tie official. Oh, that's your city council tie.
That's right.
That's right.
Because
tonight's city council.
Bingo. You figured it out.
I have. I have. So, yes, tonight is city council, which the public is invited and encouraged to come and listen and be a part of.
Sure.
6 p.m. At the Roswell Convention and Civic Center in the city council chambers there.
It's just, the chambers is a little sliver. We got that whole big conference room.
Yeah. It sounds important, though, when you have, like,
chambers. What the heck?
It's got podiums and everything.
Yeah, but it goes behind doors. Anyway, go ahead.
But that'll be tonight. And, of course, as always, you can always watch City Council on the city's website, roswell-nm.gov. If you would like to contribute there is a go-to-meeting link, and you follow the procedures, and at the appropriate time, the mayor will bring you up and do all that. But, yeah, we're full. You can come and be in the audience and do it's all, back to the way we normally like it.
So if you want to participate or comment on something on the agenda, please arrive before 6 and then sign up on those.
Yeah, don't wait till it's already started.
Yeah, because that way, what happens is the city clerk, Ms. Call, hands me the list right at 6 or just before 6. So I know, okay, on agenda item 9 or whatever, I've got 2 people. Now, I've been known to screw that up, but I tried hard not to. But the idea here is that we know to call on you. Now, certain things you don't have to sign up for. And those are 2 of the first 2 items we have.
Okay.
Let's back up. So we're going to have a wonderful presentation, so exciting, about utility billing from Mr. Nebb.
All right.
Grab
your popcorn.
Yeah, grab your popcorn. So it's kind of in the weeds thing, but it's an opportunity for the council and the public to understand. There's been some questions. How does this work?
Sure.
How do we do this?
Kind of pull back the curtain a little bit and make sense to people, things that may not make sense to them.
Right.
Gotcha.
So then we go into our 2 public hearings for proposed ordinances. Okay, the first one up is dealing with signs. I mean, it says Article 60 Roswell Zoning Code, blah, blah, blah. What this is temporary signs. And we've talked a little bit about this. Okay, the way the ordinances are currently written, you can't have signs in the right-of-way. Well, okay, that sounds good. Well, the problem is the right-of-way is between the sidewalk and the curb. Mm-hmm. So if your sidewalk is set back, you got this huge chunk, especially downtown, where
right.
And you as the property owner are responsible for taking care of that. You got to cut the grass, you got to keep the weeds out, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So if you can do that, why shouldn't you be able to put a sign up? And that's what we're going to do. The problem, obviously everybody's attention is focused because it's political time.
Mm-hmm.
But this actually also applied to real estate signs, support for Roswell High athletes,
mm-hmm.
and church signs.
Sure.
So it was an overreach that nobody really recognized at the time. We've talked about it. We're finally getting ready to basically clean up the ordinance so it fits reality.
Gotcha. Make it so it's common sense. Now, I'm just out of curiosity because, like I say, and if you, and this is just, I'm just gee whiz wondering, like say you put signs out there,
mm-hmm.
and now can anybody put those signs, or just you have to get the permission of the property owner, even though that right of way technically is
correct.
Not their property.
Whoever is the property owner right there, that's responsible for taking care of that.
You have to get their permission.
Yep.
Very good. Okay, I just
as if you were putting it in her lawn.
So just don't go randomly running around pounding in those signs without knocking on some doors and getting. Otherwise, you're probably going to be wasting your effort, and those signs will be ripped up shortly thereafter you put them down.
I understand that the gun clubs like them for target practice.
Yep.
I've been known to contribute to that.
I believe in recycling, and that's a great way to do that.
There is that. There it is. All right, and then we go into the next one that has to do with, are you ready for this? I know this will shock you. More revisions related to marijuana.
Ah.
Yes. Now, this is actually the smoking ordinance or the Clean Air Act ordinance, because now we are dealing with, people who want to smoke marijuana. Where can they do it?
Right.
And vaping. When this was originally written, this ordinance, that didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're fixing that up. And
so does it follow basically the same rules that cigarette smoking would be as far as where you can do it,
well,
where you can't?
no, marijuana, you got to be like further away.
Okay, but you can, in essence, be out in public smoking it.
I have to read the ordinance closely.
That's what I was kind of questioning. Or does it fall under drinking laws where you're not really allowed to walk around drinking a beer?
No.
Unless it's in a closed, whatever. I don't know if marijuana is the same thing, or can you walk around like a cigarette?
No,
and do it?
I don't believe so, but I'll double check that. They got a good question.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out tonight.
All right, we'll get that hammered out.
All right. Then we would have normally gone into our consent items, but we got almost everything pulled from consent by Councilor Orpesa, which is, of course, the privilege and right, not privilege. It's a right of any counselor to pull any item off of the consent agenda. Well, what's the consent agenda? That means that we don't have any objection. Everybody agrees. Well, if not everybody agrees, then we have to talk about it.
Gotcha.
So that's what's going to. So first thing up, we're going to talk about manhole repairs. We've run into an issue on Atkinson, the North Atkinson project, and actually we've had an ongoing, never-ending manhole repair replacement projects. We work on some of them every year.
Okay.
We're doing it 4 years, and we got a whole bunch. And what it is the swamp gas, for want of a better term, corrodes the mortar in these old brick-lined ones.
So is that like methane or whatever, basically? Methane and a cocktail of other stuff?
Yeah, cocktail of other stuff.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what they do is they fix that all in. They use a coating that's some kind of polymer, and bam. But we've ran into some problems in the Atkinson project. Last month we authorized 3 manhole cover projects. This one's going to be $75,000. For another one, it came to the surface a little too late to fit on last month, so we're doing it this month.
Interesting. Okay.
Also on Atkinson, we're doing water lines. We're talking $760,000 to replace water lines that they discovered were in bad shape when they started doing the road work.
Gotcha. Is this all again part of those 75-year-old pipes and they all go about the same time kind of thing? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We have a rebid for Hondo River Trail that we had gone out to bid once before. We have another bid now. That's about $210,000 to work on to redo that trail. We're working our way through our trail systems, trying to identify. We did the Spring River Trail between the zoo and Garden. That is really nice now. My golly. Woo.
Yeah.
Hobson Road. Whoa, boy, this one is something that's been near and dear to my heart. Hobson Road between 285 and Earl Cummings. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1.3 million. Now, part of this is state money.
Okay.
And so we'll be working with them. Another road project is West McGaffey, rehabbing that. That's $900,000.
Okay.
Brazier Asphalt Nova Chip. And then what we're doing here is we're entering into an agreement to purchase some supplies to be used by a street department.
Okay.
Another just under $1 million. This stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
But we use it to do the roads. This is how we pay for the roads.
It's necessary. It's cost of doing business.
We then get into 2 leases with Ascent Aviation. Now, Ascent Aviation is a company that is relatively new to Roswell.
Just had their grand opening, or about to have their grand opening.
Yeah, they're going to do a groundbreaking on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they're going to be bringing in they're leasing some land. Leasing some land to store the components for the hangar that's going to be built.
Okay.
So we enter into a lease agreement with them, and I don't think we're charging them hardly anything because it's like store this stuff. But we're also leasing, we've already leased a building, and we're leasing that to them.
Okay.
In the terminal, we've got a couple of our rental car agencies leases that we're going to talk about, so we'll grind through those too.
Are they looking to renew? Or?
Yeah, Avis and Hertz.
Cool.
But they have different brand names, like Hertz is not Hertz. It's Booten Incorporated.
Oh, it's the title, whatever, parent company or whatever it is.
Or it's a franchise, whatever.
So how did they go with Hertz? Maybe they asked him at the meeting.
Yeah.
Hertz donut.
So, and then we got a resolution, proceed with a North Garden Bridge replacement project. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tear up North Garden again. Oh, my golly, this is never ending. This thing's been going on for almost 4 years. But this is the bridge over the Arroyo just in front of the Roswell Livestock.
Okay.
And this is actually the next bridge we needed to replace. We've done the Spring River one on North Garden.
Gotcha.
Then we went and did the Lee and Deming Bridge. Now we're going to come back and do this one.
Were these all built around the same time? So they're all kind of eroding at the same time? Or?
That I'm not entirely sure. I think there's 27 total bridges in this, something like that. And so this will be the third of 27. And we'll see where we end up.
Okay. I didn't know, when at the time they were building all this, so they were kind of maybe constructed around the same time.
Yeah, there's
some
of them
have been replaced since then, or whatever. Yeah.
Some are really old. This is actually a legislative appropriation. We're talking just under $1 million, $889,000, which is great that we got this. This is in addition to the city's $13 million that we're spending on streets. So this is some additional money we're getting in. We have gotten approved for. Now we just got to do the project. Now the tricky part is this: we can't afford to have this project tearing up Garden at the same time Atkinson is still torn up.
That would be a very huge inconvenience for a lot of people in that area.
Yes, it would be. So I have been assured that we will not start tearing up Garden again until Atkinson is open.
All right. But this is a government operation. So
it has me nervous. You know why I'm nervous. Yeah, because I've been in government enough to know, no, please, not that. So we'll see. And then eventually, Garden gets redone. I mean, we've had so many patches there. We need to go back and really redo that.
Sure.
But we've done so much underneath. We're getting all the underneath stuff done. And now
it's just been years of not really a whole lot of attention paid to there. And now we're kind of reaping what we sow on that one and having to kind of go overhaul it in essence to get it back to where it should be.
Yes, because we that whole area there, the Edgewood area, some of the oldest water lines in Roswell.
Gotcha.
And they were we've been working on this for seriously about 4 or 5 years, doing some great work that's need to be done. and there's some very large water lines. I think there's a 36-inch running down Garden, and then you have paralleling that like an 8-inch or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff underground, and we have, of course, sewer, we have gas and electric, all that stuff. This is, to be honest with you, this is kind of what is the meat and potatoes of city government.
Sure, this is what city government does.
Exactly, and so
this is why you pay your grocery receipts and everything else is so
exactly.
They can go in and maintain these roads and these facilities.
So we're going to be talking about it. We'll get a presentation and from staff, and the staff, we have some very fine people that work for us, and their jobs are to, present. And we're not really here to micromanage them, but it's an oversight thing, and you want to ask questions, understand it. So, because we're spending a lot of money,
you want to make sure you're good stewards of the taxpayer money here,
exactly.
and so you just don't want to give them money and then they go run roughshod over it and do a half job on it here.
So we get done with that. We're going to go into our regular new business. We're finally be done with the things that had been on consent, and right off the bat, it's going to be our 2021 audit and corrective action plan. We've got. Every year we get audited. Mm-hmm. We have to send the audit to the state. State reviews it, and then they bless it or kick it back.
Okay.
They've blessed it. Now we can release it.
Okay.
The interesting thing is we do have two findings. One deals with municipal court, and the other one is a kind of an issue about, hey, we got to get this item, so let's go ahead and buy it, and we'll do the purchase order afterwards. Now,
okay.
Not allowed. You got to do the purchase order first.
Okay.
And so
it's procedural stuff.
Yes,
it's
procedural
did it in
stuff.
the wrong order, and now you got to go back and fix that.
And hey, stop doing that. So
Gotcha.
Training, everybody, no, we don't do it this way.
Gotcha. But that's the whole purpose of an audit.
Exactly.
And I would imagine, based on municipalities in the state of New Mexico,
oh yeah,
that was probably a pretty clean audit.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just a hunch.
Yeah. Then we are going to deal with some things that have been on our books for years, and these are uncollectible accounts. These are some of these go back 15, 20 years, I think, water bills and things that people, they stiffed us, they left. We don't have any way of finding them. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to just kind of clean up the books and say, hey.
Every business does this. That's
that's one of the things, too, is we provide these services, and this is the case where we didn't turn off your water because you were behind.
Mm-hmm.
We're very good about doing that, trying to keep it going as long as we can.
Sure.
But
well, it's utilities. It's a little different, and then especially, I mean, power so much more so than water. But when
no, water you got to have.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
of course, you could run the hose from the neighbor.
Power is more done through private than city, so their grace periods are a little bit different than the city would be. But nonetheless, they have to have them too.
So we are looking at next up is going to be an authorization to advertise to talk about some changes to our zoning ordinances. That's going to be another one of these delightfully in the weeds things. Yeehaw! The rocket sculpture item is not ready for prime time, so we're going to have that pulled.
Okay.
Next up is our Mead and Hunt Air Service Development Consulting Services.
Okay.
Mead and Hunt is a consultant we've had for a number of years. They're very good people. They've been working with us to try and get the Denver service.
Okay.
Of course, COVID knocked everything for a loop. Keeping those avenues open, and that's our objective, is to get that Denver service.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we did right before COVID, actually. There was that basically partnership with the Denver airport as like a sister city. I don't remember the official terminology, but a partnership, basically.
Yep. And so that's where we were starting to build those relationships. We want to get back on track. Things seem to be getting a little more rational. Please.
Well, that'll be nice. I know consumers will love that.
Oh, yeah.
This is those things I got to say. We got to remember, if we do get this opportunity to add that Denver flight, it only hangs out if we support it.
Bingo.
That's the thing. I think we were starting to get, with the Vegas run before COVID, we were starting to get some good traction on those flights out west. Or Phoenix run, what did I say? Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Something else on the brain, I guess.
I knew what you were thinking.
Well, I caught about halfway through. I think I said but anyway, you're going to have to treat that Denver flight the same way. But I imagine that's because that almost gives you all, as far as U.S. travel, you need to go west, you need to go north, you need to go east.
That's it.
You're covered.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. Gives a lot of options to a lot of folks, and I imagine for our business side of things, that's got to set the table to encourage more businesses setting up shop in our part of the woods, because now they've got a direct connect from these other major cities. So that's a good thing.
Well, Loprino's corporate headquarters is in Denver.
Very good. So
Intrepid Potash down in Carlsbad area, their corporate headquarters is Denver. A lot of oil and gas entities around here have interest operations up into Colorado, Wyoming.
Maybe they'll expand services because of that, or even more, just create more businesses coming in and creating just more growth for our area.
So that we're hopeful. We'll be talking more aggressively about that whole thing as the months go by. Service agreement with Main Street Roswell. We've had some extensive discussions and negotiations on this. Been a long haul, but we are ready to sign up for it.
Okay.
And we're looking forward to having a good relationship with them.
Okay.
So then, and kind of following up on that, is we're looking at a grant program. First, this is some special money the state has, and you got to understand some of these monies you can't use like for streets or policemen.
They're earmarked for specific things.
Yes. So this is a grant program to fix up an area here in the downtown area. It's called the Great Blocks Program.
Okay.
And it's just to the south of 2nd Street at the railroad tracks. There's a big empty lot there that used to be Southwest Public Safety Service generation plant.
Okay.
Huge thing there. And because of what had been there and some other things, it's going to remain open. but we're going to look at converting it into a venue area that we can have concerts outdoor.
Sure.
There's going to be parking.
Or any kind of public event or whatever, if they have some kind of, who knows, maybe a chili cook-off style thing or something like, you know what I mean? Those kind of events. Yeah,
so we're in the design phase for this. We're in the competition for some serious state funding.
Okay.
So one of the things about these, to get these funds for construction, you have to present to the state your plans. Now, the good news is we got money from the state to develop the plans.
Okay.
So we're working on that.
Good deal. So we can really utilize that and turn that into a community asset.
And it would be really attractive, and I've seen the drawings on it. It's pretty impressive. But once again, this is not the money that would go to streets and or police.
Right.
This is special
this money.
money.
Can only be used for this and no other, so might as well use it.
Like the convention center. The whole convention center renovation was funded with the bed fee.
Yeah.
What's the bed fee? $2.50 per night per room at the motels here. So the people coming in from out of town pay money into this, and this in turn comes to the city. But once again, under state law, we could only use it for the convention center.
It's very similar like lodger's tax, if people have heard that. In essence, people that come and stay at our hotels and things, they pay, when they pay their nightly stay, they pay, in essence, a couple of pennies or whatever it is on lodger's tax. And then that money is used to go and promote tourism and promote things in that local area.
Well, it's only pennies if it's the Zuni Lodge. Of course, the Zuni Lodge is long gone, ladies and gentlemen. How do I know about the Zuni Lodge? I've kicked in a door at the old Zuni
You've
Lodge.
been here a time or two.
Yeah, that's where the Marriott is now. I couldn't believe. Oh my gosh. Flashback there. Okay. Back in when we.
But in essence, it's the same kind of thing.
So there's one quick story. There's one breakfast Saturday morning. I get a call from my state police. It was Judge Rogers and a couple other guys from state police. So we had Dutch there. So we go over. I meet them there, sit in a booth and have a little breakfast, looking out the window at the Zuni. And we get done, and we just kind of walk across and, bam, kick the door and drag these guys off to jail.
Well, I'm glad you got to fuel up first.
So that was the whole thing about it.
We're not going anywhere. Right?
Yeah, we can see them. They're not going anywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The only reason they brought me along, because I'm the FBI guy, right? So that means when the door got kicked, the FBI got stuck with the bill to fix the door.
Oh, you were that guy.
Yeah, I was that guy.
You were the, hey, drinks on this guy.
Yeah.
That's a smart move. I like that.
Yeah, they are. They were pretty good about
Good stewards of local money. I
That's
like
right. They were. Let's bring the Fed along. Anyway, we may shift this order a little bit. I'm hoping we can, because we have the guy who's presenting on the Great Blocks project is also talking about the improvements at the cemetery.
Okay.
So for many years, we've been talking about two things. One, columbariums, which are those structures that you put cremated remains in.
Yes.
And a communal shelter. In other words, it's like what they have for the Veterans Cemetery.
Okay.
All right. So in other words, what happens now is if you have a graveside service, they have to roll out a tent kind of thing. And if
Put
it's at
down
all
that pasture turf and all that.
if it's a little windy and it's difficult. Whereas this would be something that would be permanent. You have your, quote, graveside service.
Like a little pavilion type thing?
Yeah.
I got you.
And the idea would be it's ADA compliant, or it's people in a wheelchair. You can easily move them in. You don't have to worry about the wind because it's a permanent structure.
And you can probably put power on it if you need to, the lighting and all that.
Exactly. So you have all those good features, and it's just a desirable way to go. Columbariums are a preferred form of burial now. There's been a very big shift away from coffin burials to cremation, and we don't have public columbariums. We have columbariums at the Veterans Cemetery, and those have been very popular. So what we're doing is this would be at the cemetery.
And I've seen those very similar to other veteran cemeteries and things. Matter of fact, my father's interred in one of those in Maryland in a veteran cemetery.
And my father-in-law and mother-in-law are here. So I'm excited about this. Well, this, by the way, another one of these interesting little tidbits, this is COVID money. Because, all these people were dying from COVID.
Is that really?
Okay, well, we may get slapped on this one, but we're trying to. Once again, we're protecting the general fund where we pay for streets, pay for
So this
police.
is a stretch in the spirit of the law.
I don't think so,
Gotcha.
but we'll find out.
All right. Well, it's worth a shot.
What they say.
I guess it's worth a shot. Well, I guess
I guess we shouldn't be talking about this on the air, right?
Worst they can say is no, right?
If you don't ask, you won't get kissed. Well, I prefer the analogy: better to be asking for forgiveness than permission.
Hey, put sanitation stations around it, and that'll justify the COVID.
There you go.
Put a couple of those sanitation stations, and I think that puts us in compliance with the spirit of of the money.
Then, okay, so we're also going to be doing a $600,000 authorization for beginning of the work for the large hangar project.
Okay.
This is to demolish some old concrete. What we have going on out there is we have an existing contractor, Constructors Incorporated, already doing work on site.
Okay.
So we're using what's called CES. It's a pre-approved contractor thing, so they can just move some equipment over rather than having to bring somebody in. Now, this is just for the demolition. There'll be more work that goes out for bid, but to get this thing cleared up and on the way because we want to get some stuff going.
Okay.
So this will be at the council for $600,000. We're going to look at purchasing 4 John Deere Gator utility vehicles through our local John Deere dealership.
Okay.
So that's good. And final thing we're going to be talking about is some replatting and zoning cases. This is for the Crumlin Auto Group.
Okay.
As you may have heard, they're going to relocate the Ford dealership.
I have heard that.
Out on the West 2nd. They're actually, I'm hoping I don't screw this up. We can get somebody from Crumlin to tell you the whole story. But they're going to take the Hyundai, which is on the far east side.
Yeah, that's the most east of their dealerships.
It's also the oldest building, and move that to the west side.
On the other side of Toyota?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then where the Hyundai is, there's an empty lot too. So you take the Hyundai and the empty lot.
And they're going to make that the Ford house.
Yeah.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, have they made any plans of what's going to happen to the old Ford house?
We've had a couple discussions about that.
And that's a prime piece of real estate.
It is. And personally, what I have said to the Crumlin folks is I would really love to see a hotel on the used car lot and then a sky bridge over to the convention center.
Okay.
So you could tie in.
So they just put that new, like right behind Ford, there's a new hotel back there. Is that done? Is that?
Home to Suites. That's
yes.
Extended stay.
And then of course, so that would make sense because it is kind of turning into a little hotel district right there,
which is kind of cool because you want downtown vibrant,
and it's close to restaurants and things, which makes sense.
So the idea would be that, in my mind, and of course it's not my property, I'm not the developer.
Sure.
I just think that we could have that would expand the potential of the convention center if you have a companion hotel.
Yeah.
And especially if they have some more breakout rooms. One of the big issues with the convention centers is where do we go for our smaller meetings? Now, we can do a lot. In that new section we built on the north side, that has the ability, I think, to break into 4 or 5 smaller rooms.
You do have those smaller rooms, like if you go into the main entrance there, and don't you go down like that little hallway, and there's a bunch of smaller rooms down there?
They can be. Everything is movable partitions.
Okay.
You could open that whole thing up into one massive area.
'Cause I think I've been in there before and walked by, and it looked like there's like half a dozen smaller meeting spaces.
You could get, I think there's like a total of 5.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're going to finish up the evening with a closed session. We're going to talk about litigation involving the Army Corps of Engineers, and that's all I'm going to say.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because litigation stuff, we bring the attorneys in, and then they warn us to, blah, blah, blah. So
sure.
But sometimes you got to bring
there's some fallout later from it, then we can report it. But for right now, it's still legally sensitive.
We're not, and there's no anything afterward where you come out and you vote, we're going to sue so and so, or we're not going to, or we're going to accept some kind of settlement. We had that when we had the tax and revenue lawsuit that we were part of with others. So we had a closed session because part of the settlement was not to be public knowledge. It's really weird, but we came out and the council voted to accept it.
Very good.
So you're right. This one could be very full. We'll see if I'm still wearing the same tie.
Well, we'll know tomorrow morning. Yes. Mayor will join us at 7:35 to give us the Sports Center recap here.
Yeah.
We got like 2, 3, 4 minutes here. I do want to kind of I had, of course, State Reps Greg Nybert and Kenny Spence-Ezell on last hour talking some legislative stuff. And,
yes.
And in between all the bad news they had, they did have some good news about this potential here with the firefighter training.
Yes.
Putting a facility for airport or aircraft firefighting training in our Roswell Air Center here.
Yep.
To me, that makes so much sense. It's not even funny, but that's got to be a potential game changer, really, for Roswell in this area, doesn't it?
It is, and what it deals with is that the FAA requires that the airports that have air service, scheduled air service, have on-site firefighters. These firefighters have to be trained in aircraft-related emergencies, not just fires.
Yeah, when you do
crashes.
jet fuels and things,
Yes.
putting it out is a whole different animal than just putting out a grease fire in your kitchen.
Right, and we've got nowhere in New Mexico that you can get this annual training. So crews from New Mexico go elsewhere. And I say nowhere. That the one exemption
is in Albuquerque, right?
But it's limited to Albuquerque because it's a joint Air Force city.
Oh, I got you.
And they will not allow like us to go up there.
Because the military's kind of flit the bill for most of that.
Some of it.
Yeah,
anyway, so our guys have to go to somewhere in like Lubbock or College Station or so, I forget where. But we have to take the equipment too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of expensive.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what we're going to do is, by doing it here, not only do we save all of our travel costs, we can bring in the crews from elsewhere, like Santa Fe, Farmington, any of these places. Now there's some of these smaller air service outfits, but they still have to have the air crew, the firefighters.
Absolutely.
So we're hoping to be able to do that here. Now, this is the money we're looking at was to do the final design. Everything. I think we can probably do the actual less than what we've been thinking for a number of years, but we won't truly know until we get into the design work.
Gotcha. Just, I know this is way down the road and all that, but ideally, would that be a federal entity that runs that, or would it be our own Roswell Fire and Rescue that run it?
Our own people.
Okay, very
But
cool.
you have to meet standards
Absolutely,
for training.
yeah, they're training and all that, but in essence, that would be a division of our own fire and rescue.
And we already have a training academy out there on Brasher and Sunset.
Yeah, it's pretty cool if you've ever driven by it.
It is. It is pretty cool. I went out there and did the entrance PE thing that they do.
Oh, where they go up the steps?
Yep.
Yeah. No, thank you. I don't want them to do that.
I want you to know, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I actually got a qualifying time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good. So if we got a fire, I expect a tank and a helmet on you.
No. I did. I won't talk about what I was doing on the ground after I
got closer with the dirt there.
Yeah, I got closer with the dirt. Just because you finish doesn't mean you're not finished.
Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah. So anyway, but no, that was exciting. We got some other good things coming too. I've been talking to a couple of the legislators, and another example of the state being flush with money. Here's hoping we spend it wisely.
Well, it sounds like some of the road projects look like they'll get funded. You know, that the 3-laner, super 3-lane, whatever they're going to call that, from
going to Texas
towards Tatum there. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
That's going to be helpful. Hopefully,
I wish it was 4-lane, but that's
but I'll take 3. That's better
true.
than 2. What we got now. So.
And in the city, one of our big projects is Washington. Now, we already did from McGaffey to Alameda. We did a mill and fill. And if you've not been by us, right there by Missouri Elementary. It's not Missouri Avenue Elementary anymore. This is not on Missouri Avenue.
All right.
So it's on Washington. What we've asked for is funding from the state. This is in addition to what we have been planning to go from Alameda all the way to 8th. So get across 2nd Street, go up there. Eventually, we will need to go to 19th. But we get to 8th Street, we're past the worst.
Okay.
So that's what's in the works.
Okay. Again, tonight, City Council, 6 p.m. at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. Public is always invited to come and be a part of the audience there for the meeting. You can also watch the meeting from the convenience of your home. Just log on to the city's website, roswell-nm.gov. You'll find a link there on the front page to the meeting, and to sign up if you'd like to formally speak or be a part of the event there.
Okay.
And then, of course, tune in tomorrow morning, 7:35. The mayor will be back with us with a McDonald's burrito in hand and giving us all the fun highlights from tonight's meeting. Hopefully, he's wearing new clothing.
Hopefully. Yep.
Well, thank you, sir, as always. Appreciate it. And we'll see you mañana.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Don't work too hard. I know. Easier said than done. All right. It is 8:53. Let's get you into local news and your Wall Street business update and quick break. Don't go away.
Now your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Eddy County Finance Director Roberta Smith recently told county leaders that the county's finances are in good shape. In fact, Smith said that Eddy County appears to be on the path to a $45 million budget surplus at the end of the fiscal year on June 30th. The county has surpassed budgeted collections in two big areas: oil and gas production and equipment, and gross receipts taxes. The Carlsbad City Council has approved an agreement with the State Transportation Department to install a traffic light at U.S. Highway 62-180 and Refinery Road. The improvement is in anticipation of the construction project at Southeast Loop Road. The city is agreeing to provide the power and maintenance to the traffic signals, while the state would be responsible for the costs of installation. And New Mexico House lawmakers have approved legislation aimed at discouraging predatory lending by lowering the state cap on annual interest rates for storefront loans. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little bit of a warming trend over the next few days, and then we'll be cooling off for the upcoming weekend with a cold front dropping in. Low 60s and sunshine today. Overnight will be clear with upper 20s and low 30s, and then we're back to the low 70s, and we get sunny weather on Friday. Mix of sunshine and clouds on Saturday, and cooler with our high in the low 50s. Fair and mild Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Some Democratic senators on Wednesday called for suspending the federal gas tax for the remainder of the year to help consumers struggling with rising fuel prices. The legislation could prove popular during an election year in which the average price of gasoline nationally, according to AAA, exceeds about $3.45 a gallon, and it could go higher during the peak driving season. A theme park comeback continued to boost Disney's results in the most recent quarter. Disney had closed or limited capacity at its theme parks and suspended cruises earlier in the pandemic. Domestic parks have reopened, and revenue in that division doubled in the most recent quarter to $7.23 billion. On Wall Street, the Dow up 305 points. The Nasdaq up 296, and the S&P 500 rose 65 points. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman, bringing you the Joy of Marriage Minute. We are the founders of the Joy of Marriage Ministry and Conference and have pastored Church on the Move in Roswell, New Mexico for 20 years. For the past 17 years, Joy of Marriage has been investing in and helping marriages, and we are excited to bring you this year's conference.
This year, we will be joined by author, pastor, and Professor D.A. Horton and his wife Alicia, as well as Pastor Diego and Cindy Mesa from Abundant Living Family Church in California. We also have a special concert from Grammy and Dove-nominated Christian country music artist Rhett Walker. This year's Joy of Marriage Conference will be February 17th through the 19th at Church on the Move in Roswell, New Mexico. And you can register online at cotmroswell.com.
So join us and experience the joy of marriage.
It's scary how often we hear those police sirens lately.
Oh, this is the new normal under Mayor Dennis Kintai.
I just don't feel safe these days around Roswell, and I'm worried about our kids.
I know. It's very concerning. Murders are up 140%, and robberies are up 142% in the last 4 years under Kintai.
What?
Yeah, and assaults are up 263%.
That's unbelievable. And I heard the other day that Roswell pays their officers a starting salary 10 grand less than Hobbs and Carlsbad. No wonder we're having trouble hiring.
We need to fire Mayor Kentai and elect Tim Jennings as mayor.
Yeah, Jennings has a plan to hire 10 more officers, and he'll make sure Roswell pays competitively to recruit and retain our police force.
I know Jennings is going to build a substation in the high crime area. That'll help.
Tim Jennings, he's got my vote.
Mine too, because I know he'll keep Roswell safe.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up here in just a few seconds. Stay tuned next hour, about 9:15 or so. Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society will be joining us, keeping us up to date on all things happening out at the Humane Society, including the kennel and the thrift shop there, and talk about any events and things. And, of course, becoming a member of the Humane Society, great way to support as well. So we'll talk all that next hour. Town Hall News up next. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. From the gas station to the grocery store and pretty much everywhere else, prices have been rising. And the government's Consumer Price Index for January, released this morning, tells us just how much they've gone up.
The Labor Department says consumer prices jumped 7.5% last month compared with January of last year. It's the highest rate of inflation in 4 decades. The one-month price gain from December to January held steady at 0.6%, but that was more than economists had expected, though a tad slower than earlier in the fall.
It's correspondent Ben Thomas. It's not only Ottawa. Truckers protesting Canadian government COVID mandates continue snarling traffic on the Ambassador Bridge, linking Windsor, Ontario, and Detroit. The BBC's Samira Hussein is there.
The economic impact could be serious. 25% of all trade between Canada and the United States happens here, or it did until angry truckers decided to intervene. In Canada, rage seems to have spread as fast as Omicron. Now, police in the nation's capital are calling for reinforcements as they work out how to dismantle an occupation. For now, the tactic is to slowly starve the convoy of cash and fuel.
The bottleneck between Detroit and Windsor has forced the closure of a Ford plant. Britain's top diplomat urging Russia to go the diplomatic route, even as thousands of Russian troops now engaged in military exercises in Belarus, part of the Russian military buildup on Ukraine's doorstep. Stocks tumbled right out of the gate this morning on Wall Street. The market reacting to the latest inflation report. Right now, the Dow is down 143 points. The Nasdaq Composite Index off 89, and the S&P 500 Index trading 25 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So I invested in one of those fancy new exercise bikes. Without a doubt, a very special tool to help me get healthier. The problem is 3 days go by, then 4, and I've done nothing. And then it's night 5, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I look down at myself, and I can't help but just laugh. Because there I am, wearing the exercise t-shirt that came with the bike, and I'm eating 2 corn dogs. And I think we'd all agree, the special tool only matters if we use it to our benefit. At United Faith Mortgage, we believe we have an advantageous tool for you. Our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions. There's no middleman. And often, this allows us to get you a better rate on your refinance or new home purchase, which can save you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Meadow Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Top Senate Republicans are urging states to ignore advice from the Biden administration on how to spend funds received as part of the infrastructure bill signed into law in November.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell and West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito have sent a letter to governors telling them to ignore guidance issued by the administration back in December. The guidance had suggested states must use the money to shore up existing roadways rather than build new roads and bridges. The senators write that the bill did not give the Federal Highway Administration, quote, the authority to dictate how states should use their federal formula funding, nor prioritizes public transit or bike paths over new roads and bridges. Bob Agnew reporting.
AstraZeneca reporting a big jump in revenue as it begins to rake in a profit from its coronavirus vaccine for the first time. Company recorded full-year revenues of $37.4 billion, an increase of 38% from the year before. News and analysis at townhall.com. The head of the NFL insists the league will not tolerate racism or harassment.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says he bears responsibility for the league's struggles on improving diversity among high-level executives and coaching staffs.
We just have to do a better job. We have to look, is there another thing that we can do to make sure we're attracting that best talent here and making our league inclusive? If I had the answer right now, I would give it to you.
In a press appearance before the Super Bowl, Goodell says the league will look into allegations made by former Miami coach Brian Flores in a lawsuit charging racism in the league. And he says the NFL will take over an investigation into alleged sexual harassment by Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder. I'm Jennifer King.
His family says it was an accidental blow to the head that resulted in the death of Bob Saget, the 65-year-old actor-comedian found dead last month in his Florida hotel room. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil which and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican
broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3. Where you at?
I'm 5.
There you go. Okay, now I hear you.
Tres inviernos.
I hit you. I turned on 4 by accident.
I'm not the one on the board, bud.
I was like, I hear a mouth, and I'm like, where's he at? And I realized I turned on the wrong mic.
I can just fill the room with sound if you need me to.
Yeah.
Tres inviernos!
But the part that freaked me out was I didn't hear anything. Like, I usually can hear a muffled you talking through the headphones.
And you got nothing.
I just saw you going. And I'm like, is he messing with me? I thought for a second you were just mouthing it.
I wish I could trill silently just to mess with you. Yeah, that would
I thought for a hot second there, I was like, and then I realized, I'm on 4 instead of 5. But for a minute, I'm like, he's not really talking because I can't hear nothing.
Sometimes you just like to mess with your mind a little bit.
Today's been a Monday, man.
It has.
The computer's not, camera's not working, which now are working. But it decided it wanted to sleep in this morning or something. I don't know. And then
and then the auto delay was on.
Yeah. Well, that's because the camera thing wasn't working and big beefy fingers accidentally turned off the bypass when you were trying to. Anyway, no one cares. No one cares but me.
Captain Beef Finger.
Well, maybe a couple people are like, ooh, you got beefy fingers?
He's got thick fingers.
What are you doing tomorrow? I've got some coins I need rolled.
All right.
Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a good one. Okay, so I keep hinting this, and I gotta take 2 minutes and get this out with the Chris Kattan. And every time I start the Big Brother thing, and then I get sidetracked, and I can't finish it.
Right.
Chris Kattan's a hot mess on that show so badly that you're almost concerned for him. Like, you're like, is he okay? Like, he's clearly out of it. Like, I don't know if it's his drug addiction or he's just burnt himself so much that I don't know.
Here's the thing.
He's like walking around like he has no idea what world he lives in.
When's the last time you can recall Chris Kattan was on a camera? He's been living the last 3-4 years of his life on the road doing stand-up tours. He's been in radio stations. Sure, he's been on their cameras. But when's the last time you could think of that he was on a national camera, like in front of a live audience, in front of people?
Oh, I have no idea.
Exactly. The last time I could think of was the 40th anniversary of SNL.
Regardless, but I'm not a Rhodes Scholar, a genius. Some would argue I'm dumb, and I'll even give you that. But I'm smart enough to know that maybe if I'm going to go on a national show called Big Brother, maybe I'll learn the rules of the game before I just sign up to be on that.
Watch a couple of episodes.
Yeah, you
just
know,
a thought.
And then he says dumb things sometimes, like Kato Kaelin showed up as a guest cameo last night.
Ooh, that's a big get.
Because Kato Kaelin...
Which is funny because he got famous for staying at somebody's house.
Well, ironically, he's a past Celebrity Big Brother contestant.
Oh,
so
okay,
he's coming on to do a game with the current cast.
Right.
That's why it's just they didn't go and get me Kato. It was
get me Kato. This show, the ratings are lagging. We need Kato. But that's what'll fix it.
And so like when Kato pops up and it was like, hey, it's Kato, but then they cut to editings of like the different celebrity contestants in the diary room sharing their reactions to said things, you know, like Kato Kaelin's here, and then they'll get a couple of the cast members like, oh, it was funny to see Kato, and they'll make some witty comment. And then there's Chris Kattan. Chris Kattan, they interview him like that, and he goes, oh, yeah, I love when he was on the first time. He did good. Like, you never watched the show, and if clearly you think Kato Kaelin did well when he was there, he was a clown shoe like he is in regular life. You know, maybe that's what his problem is. Maybe he's strategizing the Kato Kaelin approach to Big Brother.
So then my solution is, and it won't work with this season because we're already too far in. Next time, pair each celebrity with a former house guest or whatever to kind of like show them the ropes, like a mentor.
Oh.
Or maybe just the real messes.
I hate to tell you, the show's not that complicated that you need a mentor to learn how to play Big Brother.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives you a chance to work in some past faces, you know.
Well, they do that anyway. They crowbar them in from contests and things, you know. They always I don't care if it's regular Big Brother or Celebrity Big Brother. They always regurgitate past contestants in various contests or things like that.
I mean,
or rewards.
I could have told you that Chris Kattan was a hot mess in
I
general.
knew that, but I mean, it's almost to the point where you're watching it like I feel pity.
Do you
like,
think he's trying to break the game? Do you think he's trying to like just to get out? Like
I think he just needed money and he got signed on to this gig because his agent said, you got to work. And you're like, I can get you on Celebrity Big Brother. Okay, do that. And here he sits, but he doesn't know how to play the game. He just knows he's got to live in this house. And that's pretty much what he's doing. And I mean, he's friendly, nice enough, but he's in the contests, he looks god awful. And I don't care if it's a mental one or a physical one or somewhere in between. He's doesn't. I think they keep him in the house just because, you know.
I would say a warm body, but
it kind of is because they're like, well, you know, if we need to find someone to throw out in a pinch, we got Chris Kattan,
right?
Because it's just, you know, because they build alliances and strategies, and it turns.
We don't want to screw up our relationship, so let's just toss Kattan out.
So they're using Kattan and a pawn in their various alliances to do things. So, but he's just sitting there. I don't know. It's just it's not funny anymore. It's sad. You know what I mean?
Right. The novelty has worn itself off.
You just look like, how do you function in life like this? I mean, clearly, like if you're a normal person that didn't have publicists and handlers and whatnot,
exactly,
you would. Well, I'm sure he'd be homeless on the side of the street, cracked out on something. That's probably what happened.
It's a real good thing the guy's good at doing things very fast and throwing himself into stuff because, boy, he'd have no career otherwise.
Well,
he's not funny. He has very little actual personality.
I do wonder, like, how did he get where he got? Like, how did Saturday Night Live deem him
Because he
like
does,
even
he
back
moves,
in the day,
he moves quickly, and that's funny to some people. And he throws himself into things.
like
and is willing to be,
Night at the
take
Roxbury is
pratfalls.
hysterical, but it has nothing to do with Chris Kattan making it hysterical.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Corky Romano, though I liked it, is a god awful bad movie.
That movie.
It's a bad movie, but I have a soft spot for it because of I don't know, I just do.
Okay,
dumb movies.
And I'm all for dumb
I was a
movies.
kid and I watched them a million times, and now they, Corky
The movie
Romano.
Almost Heroes, one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
Literally one of Chris Farley and Matthew Perry's worst, but still one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm all for dumb movies.
Yeah.
Corky Romano was terrible.
But it was so bad it was good to me.
Okay.
Like it was so over the top cheesy with the mafia stuff, the whole it was but to
real
me
hard to follow.
I went in knowing I wasn't expecting a masterpiece here. So I walked out of it like, yeah, that was bad, but it was what I expected, so I'm okay with it. There's a couple things that made me laugh because it was dumb. And I was like, okay, it was I will give it this. It was better than the Jerky Boys movie.
Really?
Yes, the Jerky Boys movie makes me mad to this day.
That I just had to let that sit in existence for just a second before I acknowledge that.
Hey, that's a
huge accolade in the world of Mike Winters. That's why that needed to sit in its own reverence for a second. I'm like, are you serious?
I love the Jerky Boys. I hated that movie.
I love that movie.
That movie made me so mad because it was
supposed to.
No, it was. To me, it was poorly done. The bits on the radio were on the tapes, the CDs, wherever you got them, were great. They were funny. They made you laugh. It was unique. But then when they tried to basically do those bits in skit form, which is basically what the movie is, it just didn't register to me. It didn't translate.
I think it's because that has a soft spot because it's like that movie came out like in the exact same weekend almost as The Pest came out.
Yeah.
In that same vein of movies.
I will tell you this. That movie did so bad, the Jerky Boys movie.
Uh-huh.
My friend and I, Jay, I'm still friends this day with him, we went opening day, the Friday that it came out.
Uh-huh.
We went to go see it at like 7 o'clock at night, which would have been like the prime.
Right. Everybody's out watching.
It was me and it was Jay.
Okay.
In the entire theater. And that was it.
Really?
No, but not even another random couple. It was us. I've never been into a movie that I was the only person.
That's impressive.
The whole time. And it was not like 2 weeks after the movie came out. It was Friday, opening night, and there was me and Jay.
And that was before
sitting
the internet. So how did everyone know that movie was so bad?
Oh my goodness. I was like,
all right.
Yeah. So
I'll say that movie was before its time.
But I give Corky Romano better grades in that movie.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Chris Kattan, please.
But Chris Kattan, it's time to hang it up.
Get some help, man. You done burnt yourself silly.
Here's what it is. He's Dickie Roberts. Have you ever seen the movie Dickie Roberts?
I have seen Dickie Roberts. Yeah.
He's David.
But he never
Spade
got
in
to
the
be
movie
the
Dickie
child
Roberts.
star either.
Yeah, that's true. And he never really got to find the family that's going to turn his life around either. But he's basically at that point where the agent is like, you have to do something. I have bills to pay.
David Spade is Dickie Roberts. He just played himself.
That's a good point. That's a fair point. He's doing okay, though. He's doing better.
Yeah, Spade's fine.
He hitched his wagon to Adam Sandler's star.
Yeah,
He's doing all right.
Spade's fine. Only weird things he gets occasionally gets beat up by women in the media. That's kind of like, I think he's been like legit like stalked and beat up once or twice by women.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if that's because he's a jerk to these
Here's
people.
the thing:
or
when you like
I don't
him
know.
crazy, you have to kind of you ride your surfboard along certain ways.
Yeah, he's got a history of some of that kind of stuff. But other than that,
makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do our weather and stuff so Crystal can listen to us and talk about things other than Corky Romano. It is 17 minutes after 9. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little bit of a warming trend over the next few days, and then we'll be cooling off for the upcoming weekend with a cold front dropping in. Low 60s and sunshine today. Overnight will be clear with upper 20s and low 30s, and then we're back to the low 70s, and we get sunny weather on Friday. Mix of sunshine and clouds on Saturday and cooler with our high in the low 50s, fair and mild Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
I think I missed a day there. Sorry, I was talking something else. Currently 47 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 29%. Winds currently out of the north at 18. Yeah, see them trees whipping a little bit out there. Leafless trees. For today, sunny skies, mid-60s. 64 for a high today. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 31, which is pretty warm for our overnights here. We've been a lot lower than that. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we're looking at near 70-degree temperatures. Sunny, 69 for a high with west winds, 5 to 10 in the morning, 15 to 20 for the afternoon. They're saying there's a chance of 20% chance. Nuh-uh. Come on. I just saw the word, and now that ain't right. It says a 20% chance of snow after 11 Friday night with an overnight low of 30. It's going to be 70 tomorrow. Welcome to New Mexico. So you could see some snow flurries Friday night, but 70 during the day Friday. I'm just reporting it. I'm telling you. I'm just reading what it says. Saturday, they're saying mostly cloudy through mid-morning, gradually clearing later in the day. Cooler, though. High of only 51 on Saturday, so a little bit cooler. Northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for your Super Bowl Sunday, sunny skies back up into the upper 60s, 67. So should be a good, if you're going to, good for Super Bowl parties, and if you're going to hang out in the backyard, that kind of stuff should be A-okay for that. And then Monday, we're back near 70, and by Tuesday, they're saying mid-70s with a chance of rain back in the forecast on Wednesday. We'll see what happens there. All right, it is 19 minutes after 9. I got to stop hiccuping. Well, I'm going to de-hiccup. I'll go scare myself, and then I won't know what's coming. And then we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll talk pets on the other side with Crystal. Don't go away.
It's scary how often we hear those police sirens lately.
Oh, this is the new normal under Mayor Dennis Kintai.
I just don't feel safe these days around Roswell, and I'm worried about our kids.
I know. It's very concerning. Murders are up 140%, and robberies are up 142% in the last 4 years under Kintai.
What?
Yeah, and assaults are up 263%.
That's unbelievable. And I heard the other day that Roswell pays their officers a starting salary 10 grand less than Hobbs and Carlsbad. No wonder we're having trouble hiring.
We need to fire Mayor Kintai and elect Tim Jennings as mayor.
Yeah, Jennings has a plan to hire 10 more officers, and he'll make sure Roswell pays competitively to recruit and retain our police force.
I know Jennings is going to build a substation in the high crime area. That'll help.
Tim Jennings, he's got my vote.
Mine too, because I know he'll keep Roswell safe.
Paid for by Tim Jennings.
A good night's sleep is so important. Did you know that proper sleep supports a healthy heart, decreases chances of weight gain, and boosts a positive mood? Hi, this is Dr. Sarah Usher with Carabelli Dental. It doesn't matter your age, sleeping issues can make any of us reach for that all-day cup of coffee. If you know you are not sleeping because of severe snoring or sleep apnea, come visit us. We can make you a small oral appliance that will help you sleep better and live better.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 622-4455.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you can call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers. ENMU Roswell welcomes new and returning students to register online and on campus for the coming spring 2022 semester. Prepare for brighter days ahead and learn essential career skills in arts and sciences, technical and health education right here at home. Classes start January 18th. Call 575-624-7000 or log on to roswell.enmu.edu.
Success starts here. ENMU Roswell.
If your car breaks down, no need to cry, because there's always a pal nearby at Big O. At Big O Tires. Locally owned will get you in gear. That's because you've known us for years at Big O. Big O Tires. Don't need to sweat any extra labor. You can always trust a good neighbor at Big O. at Big O Tires. The best service is part of our code. Need a cup of sugar? We're down the road at Big O Tires.
You can trust the team at Big O Tires for great service and even better deals. Come in today and get a $70 reward card on select Michelin tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Not valid with other offers. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price, not to exceed $35 where permitted. Void where prohibited. Additional retailer offer advertised within is independent from the manufacturer's offer. See store for details. Some stores in Missouri, Minnesota, and Kansas are company owned.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees, so that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Procrastinators Club of America newsletter is called Last Month's Newsletter. Their first newsletter should be released any day now. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Humane Society, Crystal Noble back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. Just don't like the wind out of the north. It's a little nippy.
Yeah, it's getting a little goosty here, but, compared to last week this time, this is summertime, so.
Yeah. It's funny because, normally like the heater's cranked on high, the blanket's on high.
Yeah.
The last few nights it's been off.
Yeah, so no complaints from me today. It's sunny and
I like the weather. I just don't like the wind.
Yeah, wind is, I don't know.
A breeze is one thing, but when you get it towards like chilling your bones, that's too much.
That's kind of I say new. I've been here forever, but 20 plus years. But that was kind of a change because growing up in Maryland, D.C. area, we have wind, but not like here. We don't have like these haboobs and things like that, or it's like it's breezy out there.
Why do they call Chicago the Windy City? Have they never been here?
Yeah, I know. And so that was kind of a culture shock for me. But now it's used to it. Like dust devils and tumbleweeds. It's like, tumbleweeds or something. I always just saw those were on like Looney Tunes cartoons, tumbleweeds and stuff like that. And then I came out here, I was like, ooh, a tumbleweed, look at that, I'll never forget, getting stationed in Alamogordo and coming from El Paso and getting tumbleweeds and, destroying one with your car as you go through. That was all new to me, man. So yeah.
I laughed because I have family that's in Dallas that's never been like out of Dallas, and we were going to visit them, and one of them, they're like, hey, can you bring us a tumbleweed? And I was like,
really?
Oh, why? Because we don't have them here in Dallas. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah.
Well, you should when they do the tumbleweed snowman up in Albuquerque every year, you should go.
I was so laughing because I was transporting animals up there around the time that he was making the snowman, and he was saying that there was a shortage of tumbleweeds.
Really?
I saw drive from Vaughn to Roswell, and then anywhere inside Roswell and Chaves County, and you can make 45 of them big old snowmen.
I'll never forget, this is when I lived on the south end. My neighbor's house had a fenced-in front yard. Ours wasn't fenced in, and we lived out by the ball field out in South Sunset area, so it's kind of open out there. It's right on that cusp of city-county land. And yeah, you get one of your typical windstorms that blow through, and it blew a plethora of tumbleweeds. It was a good crop year for tumbleweeds. But what they were doing was the first wave hit that neighbor's fence in the front yard, and then they would compile there and then keep compiling there, and then it got high enough where it's a ramp, and it was basically a ramp for the rest of the tumbleweeds to shoot off over top of their fence. But when all said and done, I literally had like one of those mountains you see at like a shopping center parking lot after they plow, with those big mountains of snow just like up against a light post or something. I literally had that in my yard, but with tumbleweeds.
Yeah, on our way home on windy days, we can look at the dairy lines, and it's just...
It was so much that I actually had to pay a guy to come in and clean up and haul it off because it was just so much. It wasn't like I would have filled every dumpster in 5 mile radius with tumbleweeds.
Unfortunately, there's a plethora of them here.
Yeah, and I couldn't just say, well, let them on down the path here. Here we go. See you later. Fly, be free. Yeah, I've done that before, but I couldn't with that one.
You get the pitchfork. Fly!
Yeah. I release you. Go amongst and travel. But anyway, we're not here to talk tumbleweeds. We are here to talk pets this morning. Good news is, if you're looking for a pet right now, there is a plethora of lovable pets waiting for a home right now at the Humane Society. Whether you're looking for cats, dogs, you always have a fine selection of both.
We do. And if you're looking for a young dog to grow with the family, we have a litter of American Bulldog pups.
Oh, okay. Are they of weight yet, or are they coming soon?
Yeah, they're out of quarantine. Okay. They're in the general population. They're probably 10 or 11 weeks old now.
Okay.
So perfect. All females, so...
Okay.
And they're all white with spots.
Interesting. I'm just curious, are females generally easier to adopt than male dogs?
Yes.
I figured they would, because male dogs mark territory.
Hike. Yeah.
We make territories and things like that, where female dogs aren't as inclined to do that.
They do it, just not as often as males. Yeah. But
usually, if there's probably another female in the area and they're pissed off about it or something, that's when they start, marking territory. But other than that, they don't care.
I had a female dog that would mark every time we'd go for a walk at the park.
Yeah.
She'd have to pee on every single tree. And I'm like, you were such a little boy.
Yeah.
But we still have yin yang. We still have denim. They have passed their 1 year mark.
Oh, man. So they need to get out of there.
They need a home.
Yeah.
We do have a couple other ones that have been there for quite a while. Mesa's been there since July of last year. And then we have...
So that's going on 8 months now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have Sunflower, who's been there since September. She's a boxer mix. We have Charming and Beauty. They're pit mixes, pit lab mixes is what they look like.
They were like my sissy back in the day. She was a lab and pit mix.
They were born in the shelter Easter Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And they're the last two out of the litter.
They're pushing a year,
They're pushing a year, too.
Wow.
So we need to encourage some long-term resident adoptions,
Yeah. Wow. And that's surprising, because usually puppies don't last around that long. You know what I mean? Most people want puppies.
One is all black, and one is one of the dark brindle colors.
Oh, and I bet they're genius dog. You know what I mean?
They're sweet as can be. They love people. They walk well on a harness.
Very smart. They'll probably be great family dogs.
And they're not super big for them being almost full grown. They're not super big. They're about 25, maybe 30 pounds.
Oh, wow. That's real small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their mom wasn't very big. She was a pit mix. She was tiny.
Okay. Yeah, because my sissy was about 75, 80 pounds. And, we'll say 70. 70, 75. That was pretty close. But, yeah. So that's about... That's a medium-sized dog.
It is.
And that's a low medium-sized dog, 25 pounds,
I pick them up and carry them all the time, so.
Wow, so sounds like why, I can't understand why those dogs haven't found a home yet. They sound like they'd be perfect for some families there.
They're sweet,
Is it the pit thing? People get nervous about that?
I think so, too.
Yeah. That's all training.
And how you raise them, how you treat them, take them to obedience classes.
And if they're mixed with lab, that's like the complete, like labs are known for being the family dog, very smart, very subdued type animals for the most. I mean, they're young and love to run and stuff, but as far as aggressive, they're the complete opposite generally, unless they're threatened or protecting. And so to me, that's probably a great mix there where I don't know. I don't understand that. To me, those dogs should be gobbled up in a heartbeat.
You would think, and it's really hit and miss in a shelter. Like animals that we think, are going to adopt out super quick will sit there for a little while. And then animals that we think, oh, man.
Might be a little bit.
These are going to be a challenge, and they adopt out quicker.
Sure.
So, and it's always hit and miss,
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're real popular and they go real quick, and sometimes they're not,
And I'm telling you, I bet both of those dogs are very good to train. I bet they're, you work with those dogs, they'll probably be very easy to train. I mean, even despite the fact they've been in a kennel for a year, you know what I mean? But once they're going to adapt to your routine pretty quickly, you know what I mean?
They're both. We have the guillotine doors that pull open so that way they can go inside and outside.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they both perfectly fine walk out the doors. But coming back in through the door, they're like, no, I think I want you to come and get me.
Yeah, they're gonna.
So it's a game to them,
Sure.
you know. We'll go outside, and then they'll go ahead and run inside, and then you have to go inside and close the door, or pick them up and
It's
carry
their
them in.
routine,
It's
yeah.
their routine, you know. They're stuck on a routine, and you know.
And let's face it, that's probably one of their highlights of the day, to get out and run around a little bit. And so they're gonna, they're gonna have fun with that a little bit while they got a chance to.
And we do have, one of our volunteers has taken them on walks, started getting them used to wearing a harness and a leash, and harness breaking them, leash breaking them, and they do very well.
Yeah. Hopefully someone can maybe adopt them together. Sounds like they might be a good pairing to go together. I mean, you probably don't have to, but I'm saying since they've kind of been accustomed to each other for a better part of a year now.
Right, and they're side by side, so they get to see each other every single day.
I wonder if you're looking for a pair of dogs, that might be a good 1-2 to bring home to,
And they're both very submissive.
Okay.
So when we go in to pick up Charming, he's got the happy piddles, and then we wait for him to run his little piddles around.
And I think that's like labs, and maybe that's all dogs, but my Sissy did the same thing for 3-4 years, and they kind of outgrow it after a while. But
yeah.
They
Boy
get
dogs
excited
are
and
a little bit harder with happy piddles because they have an aimer.
Ah, yeah.
Little girls just go down.
It just goes straight down. This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to dodge the little boys.
Especially if they jump up on you.
He doesn't jump up on you. He just sits there and waves it around.
Just lets the freak flag fly, so to speak.
Yep. So we know not to stand in front of him.
Gotcha. Yeah, till after the greetings, and then then he's fine. But you're right. This is I'm hopefully, if folks are looking for a good family dog or dogs, please come to the shelter. Take a look at these two because they need to get a home pretty quick. So.
They do, and we still need Denim and Yin Yang to find their
they've been over
home.
a year too. And
they both
remind folks what kind of dogs those guys are.
Yin Yang is a pit mix.
Okay.
And Denim is a French Mastiff.
Okay, so they're
she's
both big dogs that require probably some space. But we got plenty of that around here, and if you've got it, and again, two great loving dogs. Pits get that wrong stigma on there, but bull mastiffs are very big, friendly lap dogs that aren't supposed. They're ginormous lap dogs.
She's very gentle. When you go in the kennel with her, she doesn't jump up on you.
Oh,
she
good.
sits down. Okay. She waits for you to pet her. When you give her treats, she takes them very gently. She doesn't knob your fingers off. And she just loves her belly rubbed, her chest area.
Just a very friendly
she
dog.
is.
And how old is she at this point?
She's 5.
So she's about middle age for a
and
mastiff.
so is Yin Yang.
Yeah,
so.
they go about 10 years. But sounds like if you're looking for a good companion dog, either one of these would be it.
They're out of their toddler years.
Yes, yeah, they're going to be a little bit more receptive to just sitting down and laying down, whether you're laying next to your feet while you're watching TV.
Yin Yang is the ultimate, want to be with somebody, wants the love, he wants to go, but he wants the love.
Sure. Wants a partner.
He's all, let's go, partner. Craig.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all these. And I will tell you, and this is the beauty of rescuing animals. And I don't care. They know the difference. And whenever you bring those animals home to your environment and they start to get to the realization that this is their new space and new things, I'm telling you, it's going to be a pleasant experience. They're going to, there's always growing pains. Anytime there's a relationship, a belt gets chewed or, an accident happens on a floor here or something like that. That's part of, coming together. But once you establish patterns, once you instill a routine and some training and kind of set the boundaries for this animal and giving them the love and doing all the things you kind of establish your connections,
right, you make your routines and this is what we do, they love it. They love routine,
and you'll find their little quirks and your little quirks and how one day you're going to be like, why does he always tilt his head that way? Or why do they always, spin around in a circle? And then you have fun with that kind of stuff. And you kind of, that's part of learning each other and knowing each other. And trust me, the dog will learn your routines. Gonna know when you get up, when you go to bathroom, when you're doing everything. It'll know.
Or they're gonna create a routine for you.
Exactly. Yeah. They're great at that kind of stuff. So really, adopting a dog into your life, if you're willing to, is not that it's it's a commitment, just like anything else. We say this: you got to spend money. It takes money. You gotta be medically sound with this dog and take it to its regular vet appointments and getting its inoculations and getting on the medicines that are appropriate for it. If it's a bigger dog, you probably want to be doing some joint health medicines for that, because generally speaking, big dogs over time have joint issues. So if you do a little preemptive there, you might be doing stuff for healthy benefit for that dog. Or if you have dogs that are subject to, depending on the breed, some are subject to certain ailments that others aren't and things like that. Obviously, if you're picking like bulldogs or dogs with smooshed in snouts and things like that, those are generally higher maintenance, more medical related dogs than say a lab would be. And little dogs, they require more, kind of the grooming side of stuff, and taking them to get not only groomed, but doing the anal gland things and all that people like don't want to mess with. That's part of being a responsible pet owner. Little dog, big dog, they all have different pros and cons and things you have to watch out for, and things that, you can enjoy. And, like if you're looking for, like a dog to go running and doing things like that, maybe a little Chihuahua is probably not the best dog for that.
No, if you want like an active dog, you need to look into like active breeds, labs, huskies, shepherds.
Exactly. So it, kind of what kind of relationship you're looking for ought to dictate what you're doing. And obviously certain breeds work better with kids than others. And you guys know the animals in that shelter pretty well. You kind of can tell which ones are better for single parent homes or single pet homes, or which would be great as a family dog or cat or any of that kind of stuff. You can kind of give them that kind of advice. Like, it's a beautiful dog, but if you got kids, she doesn't do well with kids or whatever. You can help them with all that stuff.
Right, and that's why we also require the meet and greets, so that way, we can see how that dog is specifically going to do with your family, who it's going to be living with.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's another, of course, if you do adopt from the Humane Society, if you adopt a dog, they will come out and inspect, make sure you have a proper fenced-in yard and place for the dog to, indoor to be sheltered and everything else, making sure all that's above board. Cats, you just have to promise and make sure that they are indoor-only cats. No matter what status your pet is, before that pet enters your home as a family member, it will be spayed or neutered before it enters your home. Sometimes some of the pets are already spayed and neutered. They came that way or whatever, and you could pretty much take them home that day. It's getting chipped and all that stuff, barring that. But any other time, if you adopt a pet from the Humane Society, 9 times out of 10, it's going to go directly to the vet of your choice to get it spayed or neutered, chipped, whatever it needs to have done there. I would also offer, if you're going to go ahead and have the vet do a full physical or whatever, just making sure everything is
a one over.
Yeah, making sure the dog's healthy. I'm not saying doing deep lab work and all this, but just a once over, making sure nothing looks out of sorts there, and next thing you know, you got your lovely dog or cat as part of your family. So.
And what makes it easier is a lot of the times where people are wanting to know about certain animals. Mm-hmm. Like they'll sit up, they'll talk with us, they'll tell us, okay, this is what our lifestyle is like, and that helps us say, okay, if you're looking for this size of dog, these are the dogs you need to go look at.
Sure.
And then when they come in there and they have no clue what they want, they walk through, they come up, they have a million questions, but that's how we place them to where we know it's going to be a good match for both ends.
It's all a good thing, yeah. And I would imagine that's all good information for you guys, too. When you have active, engaged people coming in looking for pets, those are clear indicators for you whether you're getting serious inquiries, serious people that are invested in becoming a pet owner and willing to do what it takes to be a pet owner. I will tell you this, and we said it 1,000 times, if you're looking at this as a gift for somebody or looking at this as a companion for an older person, I'm not saying those are bad things, but don't do them surprises. Don't do them as just this wonderful thing that you spring on somebody. Make sure that person is involved in every step of that process, from the choosing of the animal to the paperwork. Because at the end of the day, that animal is going to be property of that person.
Right,
so,
and they have to actually sign the contract. Like
adoption.
If you want to pay for it, as a gift for somebody, we don't mind that.
Right, but do the research.
Right, and we don't do the gift giving. If you want to come in, swoop in, pick one up, and this would be a perfect Valentine's Day gift, we don't do that.
Yeah. But don't even adopt it for yourself and then give it away that way. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who pull that move and they adopt it from you guys through them, and then they just physically give the pet to that person, which is not a good idea either.
We do checkups.
So you find out if that happens.
Yeah. And then you get banned from adopting from our shelter.
Gotcha. Very
So
good.
if
So
we
don't
do
do that.
We do have a do not adopt list.
Yeah.
You know, people who have been charged for cruelty, neglect, or
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of, I know for good people, sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around this, but unfortunately, they have people that do very nefarious things with pets. Some of them intentionally, some of them don't realize that they're just bad people with these pets. You know what I mean? Some are just like weird hoarders that think that they got to be surrounded by pets and
their heart is in the right place, but
Yeah.
their capabilities are not.
Yeah, and then unfortunately you've got, your dog fighting and those kind of things, and that's why you hear stories of people's dogs getting stolen out of backyards and things like that. And then of course, always warn people of the puppy mill stuff. If you see people in the store parking lots with a hatchback open and a bunch of puppies out the back selling them, report them.
That is
them.
illegal.
Yeah, call the cops, report them. It is illegal, but it's also, and even if the person's legit, like taking care of them and all that, this is why we have the pet problem we have in our community right now, because of unresponsible people doing things like that, amongst other things. But and so we gotta eliminate that. I mean, I understand there's licensed breeders and they do, as long as they're doing their things by their regulations and they're being checked and doing all that, I'm good with that, happy.
But the majority of licensed breeders, they advertise,
Yeah, they ain't sitting up in a store parking lot with a box full of puppies.
No,
Yeah,
that's a backyard breeder.
And by the way, those people have paperwork on those animals and they charge,
quite significantly.
That paperwork makes them very expensive. That's why I just go to the pound. Go to the pound or go to the Humane Society and come. I say pound. I always do that. Animal control. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's just a term I've known since, your
As
children.
a kid, but pound puppies, know.
Yeah, exactly.
So it does sound horrible when you refer to it as the pound.
Yeah, but that's how we know it,
But it is, Roswell Animal Services, and they've come up a long way from how things used to be back when I first started.
Yeah.
They vaccinate animals now. They do tick treatments, flea treatments, wormings, medications. If they're sick, they go to the vet.
It's not just a place to house animals until they either get picked up or euthanized.
No, they're coming up. They're working hard at trying to make each animal's life a different life when it comes into their facility.
Good. And as I say every time, when you come by the Humane Society to do some pet shopping or some pet perusing, if you do not see an animal that you connect with in the Humane Society, walk right next door to Animal Control. Either way, you're rescuing a pet. It does not matter.
An animal out of a shelter is an animal out of a shelter.
You're rescuing a pet, and so if you take it out of the cage at the Humane Society, and that frees up a cage. If they've got an open cage now, if there's any pets on the short list or anything over that, they'll go over there into the pound to Animal Control, and sorry, it's just in my head, and adopt those out and bring them over and give them that. Now, and I will say this too. Pets don't just get randomly put on that short list over there. It becomes the only time they start getting in those numbers is when it's to capacity and they can't take in any more animals.
And it's the ones who've been there the longest.
And that's when we start seeing the euthanization stuff. And fortunately, we have a good group of people in our community that kind of keep an eye out and kind of raise the alarm or raise the flag when that's the case. And then if the Humane Society can't help out, maybe Paws and Claws or some of the, not Paws and Claws, but
Fora.
Yeah, some of the other local areas groups kind of get involved and help out. So.
But I do want people to realize that if they do see an animal that is on the said to be possible euthanasia list.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not ready for an animal, do not go and adopt that animal because you feel sorry for it.
Sure, yeah. Find someone that can.
Spread the word about the dog. Talk to your friends, talk to family, people that at work that might be looking for an animal. But if you are not ready, not financially stable, do not adopt that dog.
Absolutely. I got a feeling. How we were talking earlier about the types of people hoarding and all that. I got a feeling that's kind of how some of those start, where they feel bad for an animal and so they bring it in even though they really don't have the resources to house it or take care of it. and then that begats another one, and you're like, well, I got 4, might as well throw one more into the mix, And so I kind of feel like that's how those scenarios kind of snowball.
And they do. And there's a lot of people out there that have such wonderful hearts, that love the animals. They just don't have the means for them.
Yeah.
And don't beat yourself up. Don't feel guilty because you can't adopt that dog. Spread the word and help that dog get adopted.
Well, if you feel like those kind of things, then you're a perfect person to be a volunteer at the Humane Society.
Yeah, or animal control.
Or animal control. Because if you want to benefit our community in that way, be that advocate. Come out there, work with the animals. Help out with the promotional events, like when now that I think you guys will be able to start visiting more places now that seems to be COVID lifting up a little bit here again. And so hopefully you can show up more than maybe once a month out at different places now,
right?
Bringing the pets. But anytime that happens, we need volunteers, especially if you're going to bring a lot of pets to a location.
Right, we need somebody to help.
More than one
out,
wrangler does not
work.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a great way to get involved, to help out that way. Be a spokesperson for the Humane Society and Animal Control.
Be an extra voice.
Yes, come out and do that. That's how you help and make a difference if you want to feel bad. And you're like, well, I can't adopt these pets personally because I'm at my capacity or I just don't have the means. Then this is a great way. Or you live in a place that's not ideal for pets, too.
Or allowed.
Yeah, or
allowed. There's a lot of places, unfortunately, that nowadays are not allowing pets.
Sure, yeah. When you own property, you get to do what you want with it. That's how that works.
Yep, it is.
You don't like it, buy your own property. And then, of course, I do want to talk thrift store side, because that's another way to support the Humane Society, shopping and donating to the thrift store here.
And I do want to mention that this Saturday, which is a Saturday before Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Everything, everything in the store that is red and pink will be half off Saturday only.
Okay.
From 10 to 4:30.
For Valentine's Day. Okay.
And all hanging clothes will be half off.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, is there certain types of things that are red and pink, or could it be anything?
Anything that's red and pink. They've got Valentine's stuff there,
Okay. So it's not necessarily Valentine's related. It could be.
No, if there's a red toaster,
coffee
it's half
pot
off.
or something. Gotcha. Okay.
Cool. So anything red and pink that's in the store is half off.
All right.
And then all hanging clothes that day will be half off as well.
So is there going to be a bunch of white T-shirts that got washed with a red shirt the first time? And we all got one of those laying around, don't we?
Yeah. And also, if you know of anybody or anybody has a need for a twin-size medical bed.
Okay. It's got the lift and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
They have one that was donated, brand new, only used for probably a short period of time.
Okay.
They have it marked for $300.
Holy cow!
It's the frame, the motor, the bed. It's everything.
I think if you try to buy one new outright, it's probably
like $3,000.
Yeah, I was going to say $5,000, but yeah. Wow, that's cheap actually. $3,000. I thought it was way more than that. But great. So if you need one of those or want one, I guess if
you want to sit in bedroom and pop your head up and watch TV,
you do you. But it's
and don't want to
available.
put 45 pillows behind you.
Yeah, I imagine you're gonna need some friends because that's probably very weighty, isn't it? Those beds.
I didn't unload it, so I cannot tell you how much it weighs.
But just based on my times at hospitals and things and seeing them move those beds around and all that, they don't look light.
No, but if you want to come down and look at it, it's at the thrift store.
Perfect.
They've even got the controllers there if you want to plug it in and try it out, see how it works.
They said like practically brand new. So
it is.
Great. So yeah, unfortunately it's not pink or red, but $300. I mean, man.
No, the frame is brown and the mattress is blue and brown.
Typical hospital colors for their rooms and things like that. But yeah, and that's a great resource for anything. If you're looking for appliances, small appliances to knickknacks, collectibles.
They've got some really nice fine china.
Okay.
I think it's a small set. I don't think it's a really big set, but it's pretty.
I got a feeling if you want that bed, you better get a hold of them today because I can't imagine once word gets out, somebody's going to want that bed pretty quick, especially for $300.
Yeah, and actually it doesn't even look like a hospital bed. It looks like an actual twin-size home bed. It's got a headboard.
Okay.
It's got the side frames.
Doesn't have all the plug-ins for all the medical stuff.
Nope.
Cool. Okay.
It's just the head up, knee up, butt up, whatever.
Yeah.
You want to play with somebody, you fold them in half.
That's right. Do the burrito taco thing. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great. Yeah, for $300, you can't beat that. So
no.
Just You got to be for one person. Obviously, it's a single or twin. So.
Or two really skinny people.
Yeah, I guess if you're real tiny and you can fold up together. But
we're not talking about any of us.
Yeah, certainly not me. But again, and come on, reach out. Another way to get involved. We're almost out of time, but let me
memberships.
Yes, membership is a way to be
I forgot
involved.
the forms.
Oh well, you can get them online.
Yes.
If you go to the RoswellHumane.org, you will see the membership forms there. You also see every single pet that is calling the shelter home right now. So that's a great way if you kind of want to get a glimpse of some of the pets available for adoption. As I say every time, if you see not available next to the picture, that means the pet is in quarantine. It does not mean the pet's been adopted, which means the pet will be available soon. So if you see one that says not available next to it, and you fall in love with it, like, oh, that's what I'm looking for. Call, inquire about it, or email, reach out, because what is happening is it's not made weight yet, or maybe it's new to the shelter, and so it's waiting on vax and all that kind of stuff. But it's at a point where soon it will be coming available to adopt. So that's what that means. But if you're looking to be a member, you'll find the forms there. Your kids can be a member. Your pets can be a member. Your toaster can be a member. Anything that can be a member.
Or if you're looking for a job, the kennels are still hiring.
Oh, still looking for...
still looking.
They pay minimum wage, but I would say...
It's full-time.
And I would say this is a great opportunity for young people that are maybe want to pursue veterinary medicine or something in school later on and looking to spend some time doing some hours full-time here to do this kind of stuff. Maybe you have aspirations to go to college or something like that to do veterinary medicine. Or
You do have to be 18, unfortunately.
Okay, so at least 18 here. Now, if you're under 18 and maybe come and volunteer.
Unfortunately, the insurance requires everybody to be 18.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
It's called a liability.
I imagine, I could see it if a dog bites somebody, and I get it. There's all kinds of lawsuits coming and all that stuff. But reach out, come out, and like I said, if you are looking for work and love pets, and here's a great, you're going to get messy because you clean up kennels and clean up after pets.
That's what I'm about to go do.
But you get to hang out with pets all day, and the love and all the stuff that pets do. You get to be immersed in all that.
You get to be the person to help learn that personality of the animal to help find its forever home.
Yeah, you're going to be their kind of caretaker till they find their permanent family. So it's pretty cool. RoswellHumane.org.
Yep.
Come on by on East McGaffey. What's the address numbers there?
703 is us.
Yes.
The thrift store is 701.
And they're right next to each other on East McGaffey.
Yeah, the thrift store sits in front of us. We're right behind them. And then if you go a little bit behind us, that's animal control. So we're 701, 703, and 705.
So park right there, and then you can visit all three facilities at your leisure there.
All in walking distance.
All right there. And give out hours real quick for...
Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 12, and 1 to 4:30 is for the kennel.
Okay.
And then the thrift store is Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 4:30.
Very good. And just a reminder, Wednesday's new stuff day. So if you're looking for the new stuff at the thrift store, you will have to get into the masses that usually hang out at 10 a.m. when the new stuff comes on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's normally a pretty good long line.
Yeah. Well, very good. Did we get it all?
I think we'll. So
awesome. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. See you in a couple.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. And who are you going for in the Super Bowl?
You really got to ask that question? Cincinnati.
All right. Well, you're a Cowboys fan, so
I know,
it could go either way.
The only reason I'm anti-Rams is because Cincinnati hasn't been to the Super Bowl or even won a Super Bowl since like the 80s.
Yeah.
And, that's right along with the Cowboys.
And they've been and lost, if I remember. They lost to the Niners once or twice.
Yeah, so they're my underdog like the Cowboys, because we ain't gone nowhere in any length of time. So how do you feel about the Commanders?
I don't. I mean, you know what? I like the uniforms. The uniforms, there's the black one looks good, the red. I'm not a big fan of the away one. It's the red's not the right color, but I kind of dig them. They look all right.
So they're now officially the Washington Commanders.
That's it. That's the.
I like the Redskins more. The name just rings more.
I grew up with that, and it's in my blood. So yes, I miss it dearly. It was, but I have no choice. I can't. I'm not rooting for another team ever. I can't do that. And I want to continue to watch football. So here I sit. So.
Well, we'll just forever refer to them as the Washington Redskins.
That's right. Until they arrest me for saying that in this day and age. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because, people get butt hurt.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. We'll see you next time. It is 9:57. Quick break before we are gone in the wind. Don't go away.
Have you ever just been tired? I'm not talking about sleepy tired, more like my mom used to say, sick and tired. It seems like I've been meeting a lot of people lately who are just tired. They're tired of their jobs, of politics, of rising inflation and paychecks that have stayed the same, tired of doing school and work and everything at home instead of somewhere else, and they're certainly tired of COVID. The stress on us because of where the world is right now is high, and it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Often I'm asked by people who are tired if there's any secret to getting rid of the tired. My answer is simple, but simple doesn't always mean easy. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest." That's my simple answer. Give your burdens and all those things that make you tired to the one who can handle it. His shoulders are broad enough to carry your burdens and to hold you up when you're tired. It's taken me a while, but I think I finally figured out that my shoulders are not near as broad as his. I just need to learn to give up trying to carry everything by myself.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
The Valentine's Day giveaway is on at Roswell Nissan. Roswell Nissan is giving away a 2-night getaway to Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino in Santa Fe, plus a $100 food voucher at the resort and a $400 Visa gift card. 1 entry for stopping by, 3 entries with a test drive or service, and 5 entries with a purchase. Drawing February 12th at 1, must be present to win. Plus, 0 down, no payments for 90 days, and $2,000 guaranteed on your trade. There's a lot to love at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Roswell Skin Center, a brand new state-of-the-art facility located in the 400 Penn Plaza building here in Roswell, is now accepting new patients. Dr. Brandon Cometti and his team offer a full range of skin care services, including general dermatology, surgical and cosmetic procedures, including cutting-edge laser rejuvenation, Botox, filler, laser hair removal, chemical peels, and other non-invasive options to improve skin health and turn back the hands of time. Call and schedule your appointment at Roswell Skin Center today, 208-2509. That's 208-2509.
The University of New Mexico is committed to ensuring that residents of our state entering college for the first time can afford to pursue a bachelor's degree with the Lobo First Year Promise. Qualified first-time freshmen who have graduated from a New Mexico high school and have an annual